Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sacred Streaming. Colin, did you have a nice Easter? That looks
I
like a
did.
happy Easter face.
It's my Easter bunny face.
Your Easter bunny face, yeah.
Yeah, it was good. He rose,
Mhm.
So,
The Easter bunny or
no,
Jesus
Jesus
Christ?
did. Well, maybe the Easter bunny did as well. I don't know.
Hard to say.
He doesn't seem to rise. He doesn't seem to really go anywhere. He's just around every at the appropriate time every year.
Right.
So I don't know if he like fucks off to Cabo or something like that and then comes back.
Easter bunny kind of lame. Which I think, I think Santa's kind of lame too, but at least Santa has a lore, He's got a mythos around him. Easter bunny's just some fucking guy? Some bunny?
Yeah.
Who is he? Who does he think he is?
He's like he's like the Tooth Fairy or some bullshit,
Right.
He's
right,
definitely no Santa. I mean, he's no Santa Claus.
No, Santa's
Obviously.
the king.
He is. What if Santa Claus is Jesus Christ disguised? Because he has this thing where he loves coming. He wants to please everyone. He's like, well, obviously there'll be the second coming and you'll know. Right.
Right.
I loved that on Polymarket, how there was the bet on if the second coming would happen this year. And everyone's like, why would you just not bet yes? Or no, you would. What there was a bet where it's like you would absorb it. Yeah. Because you would bet. What was it? I'm trying to think. Anyway, it doesn't matter. There was a way to like kind of game it 95-5 or whatever.
Sure.
Because if he came back, then what would it matter if you lost your money?
True.
Because you know what I mean. So he's back. At least he was then. The Romans must have been very disturbed by all this.
True. Though I don't think he appeared to any Romans after, but certainly the lingering effects had the Romans worried.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he didn't. It's not like he appeared yet. Like he didn't. But they must have known the tomb was empty.
Oh yeah, they were like, shit. The guys guarding it were like, damn.
Where'd he go?
What happened?
I always like in the visual, because who knows what it really looked like or whatever. But it's always like a circular stone that's like moved out of the way.
It's perfectly carved. Yeah.
And I'm like, geez, how did he get that out of the way? That's crazy.
What do you think about the Shroud of Turin?
I watched it. It's funny. Tucker Carlson like a year ago had like an expert on about it.
Yeah.
And there are people that swear up and down that it's real. I think the whole thing is that people that say that it's real because it was tested.
Right.
They cut a piece of it and then it was like, this is from the 10th century or whatever, so it can't be real. And then the whole argument, I think, is that it was repaired and they took a piece of the repair or whatever. But I'm like, I think it's a really cool and interesting story because also what I remember is I think the first time it was photographed in black and white, quite crudely or whatever. And then as the time went on, you could like, I don't know if it was X-rayed or whatever. And then like the image kind of pops.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's interesting.
Well, I haven't done extensive research or anything, so I'm somewhat talking out of my ass of random things I've seen, but isn't it that they don't have any idea how the image is on there? Regardless on whether or not you believe it's real or not, whatever, but it's like how'd that get there?
It's funny because Relics will play a huge part in Saints Lair, which comes out April 20th on all consoles if you're interested in PC. And I didn't end up using the Shroud of Turin in it because it was too. It's like it's the relic everyone thinks of.
Right.
I even invented some relics, which was really fun in the game. Of things that like I invented. I'll spoil a little. So it's not a spoiler because it's just a collectible. Like I was reading and I was like, was there ever I don't remember this in the Gospels, but like, is it anywhere in like later in the New Testament or whatever that the Romans read some sort of execution note or something, like something they read before he was like put on the cross, and there wasn't apparently. So one of the collectibles is like a rolled up document in the game, and it's supposed to be like the thing that the Roman soldier read before the execution and stuff like that. Yeah, so little relics everywhere. People will see.
Now, on a related note, I was watching for a little bit Lockmort on his stream. He was streaming the Steam hit I Am Jesus Christ.
Yeah, is that supposed to? Is it so? That game plays it straight, right? Like it's not supposed to be a joke.
I believe that it is technically like an edutainment type game. At least what I saw from it. I mean, there's definitely stuff that's being added. Like there's this scene with Lockmore was playing. It was when Jesus was being tempted in the desert, and there was this part where you have to like cast demons into hell and stuff. And I was like, well, I guess kind of. But yeah, by the end, I was watching Lockmore and he was turning the water into wine. Like, oh, pretty neat.
That's his first miracle in the Bible, isn't it?
First miracle.
And sequentially is the water into wine.
I always find that to be a really interesting miracle, and something that's always debated among different sects of Christianity. Is like there's some Christians that are like drinking is bad. All forms of drinking is bad. And they'll make the argument like, well, back then the wine was so weak that people weren't really getting drunk off of it. I disagree with that. Because they drank all the wine for the wedding, and they're like, Mary's like, Jesus, I need you to help us out here.
Yeah, like, come on, man, with the pack is closed.
He turns the water into wine, and I can't remember. It's someone in the family makes a comment. They're like, wow, this is the best wine. Because normally for weddings back then, it was like you use the good wine first when people are, not lit yet.
Right.
And as the party goes on, which I think was over many days, you start to
bring
use
out the
shittier
box
wine.
Yeah, the box wine. So
it's like, Jesus didn't just show up, with box wine. He brought the best wine. So that's why I'm kind of like, I mean, of course, in the Bible talks about not being a drunkard and being, if being drunkenness all the time. I mean, certainly that's a bad thing, but being glad of heart, I think Jesus encouraged it to a degree.
I just got an interesting email. Never got this before.
Oh.
You have one refund request to review on Patreon.
Interesting.
So I click on it.
Request.
Yeah, click on it. It's a guy who's been a member, your member for a day, but lifetime $234 given to us.
Okay.
And his note says, duplicate charge. I was signed in under the wrong ID and wanted to pledge under my Apple ID.
Oh, okay.
Should I reject the refund?
Say sorry, bro.
I will give him the full refund of $10. Now, I don't like them when they do under the Apple ID. It's more expensive for them to do that. But I guess a lot of people don't care.
Well, I think you can use your Apple ID on desktop and still sign up through payment through that. Because Apple ID is a separate thing from Apple, in-app purchase.
Right. Okay, cool. All right, I gave you your refund. Now leave me alone. Let's talk about Jesus Christ some more. Favorite gospel.
Favorite gospel.
Who's your favorite gospel?
I don't know. Everyone likes John the most, but I honestly don't really know.
Yeah, John. Well, John. Which is the one that there's one of them that is not. There's this idea that the source of the three of them is the same, right? And then there's like one weird one. Is that the? Like they tell the same stories, but then there's one that tells a lot of unique shit. Is that John? I don't know my Bible very well anymore. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
But I know, like, I did take a lot of secular, not a lot, but like 3 secular classes at Northeastern about the Bible, about who wrote it and the sourcing of the Bible and stuff like that. It's so fascinating. Mm-hmm. I've always been most fascinated by Revelation, personally, which is not a gospel, obviously.
Right.
Just because it was written so late. It was written like 50 or 60 years after Jesus died.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
So spooky and creepy.
Creepy, weird.
It's all symbols.
Right. Yeah. It's I've dabbled in some like theology type stuff, but not too much. Like I'm not super versed. I do like the debate though, about like the 7-day creationists. I always find that very fascinating because I'm not a literal 7-day creationist at all.
Yeah, I have a hard time with that just because. Well, who knows really? Like if in Genesis the earth is created in a void, there would be no days. Right? Like what? And I know people say like it's like, oh, the day is like an allegory for. I'm like, that's not what I mean. I mean like there's no sun. There's no rotation of the planet. the planet is axial tilt and all that is from early collisions, which made the moon and all of the rest. So it's like the Earth could have just been sitting still, and therefore a day could have been forever, basically.
Right.
And in that regard, maybe it's Genesis. I always was like, I don't know. I do like listening to like Ken Ham and some of those dudes that like believe believe it literally, just because it's so interesting, like how they justify it.
Yeah.
I don't buy that,
dude. I was so frustrated when there was the Bill Nye Ken Ham debate.
Oh, that was
So I was like, no, that's not the guy I want representing this side. You know, like and I bet you some scientists probably didn't want Bill Nye because he's not really a scientist.
He's a science communicator. Yeah, I remember that very well. It was like 2014 or something, like 2015, something like that. And it was quite interesting because I remember what it was that like Ken Ham definitely had like much more compelling production.
Right.
He had like really beautiful like PowerPoints and all the rest. And then Bill Nye was obviously had a lot of facts, but just didn't present it very well. And I'm like, how do you like kind of muddle this thing of all things? Yeah. This guy's literally telling you that dinosaur bones were buried by God. Come on, man.
It's funny because someone that I was like a mentor of mine at my church growing up. He now lives in North or South Carolina. He was a scientist and he worked at a company closer to Pittsburgh. And I always found his perspective interesting that like a lot of people are like science versus religion, but he always was like, well, science can help prove the religion. Like there doesn't need to be an and or. And so it's like, to me,
intelligent design,
but just like, you know, it doesn't need to be a literal. I think it could have been possible that God could have done it in 7 literal days, but I just don't think that that's what happened because we can view the evidence of things scientifically that wasn't the case. But honestly, it's one of those things that doesn't really matter to me that much either.
No, I mean, I think I've always felt this way about the Old Testament, especially when I went to Catholic school and I like, for the first time in my life, really learned it more, I guess, because you had daily Bible like study. And I was like, we would bounce between the Old Testament and the New Testament. And it's like everything in the Old Testament can be fake and made up, and it doesn't necessarily mean anything for the New Testament. It's theoretically possible that these are old. No one was literate right back then. So like very few people had access to this information that could write it down and all the rest. And it could just be a justification like many other things of where all of this comes from. And yet there still could have been a man. There was a man named Jesus Christ, and he could have been holy and all that. And the New Testament can tell things that are much more realistic and that they're put together, I think is maybe the most damaging part of the realism, because the Old Testament gets into really weird shit. The whale, people living to 800 years old, like it's like, I don't know about any of this, right? You know? But then when you get to when you get to the New Testament, you're in historical times. Like now you're like in places and things that are like real,
right? With
real people and people that Josephus and Tacitus and all these other people say were real. So it's like, I think that's really interesting personally. The New Testament is much more compelling for that reason.
Yeah, I think that the Old Testament is kind of, I mean, I don't want to say like a prequel to the New Testament, but it's kind of like setting the stage for everything that happens in the New Testament. All the prophecies about Jesus happen in the Old Testament and then come to fruition in the New Testament. So it's important, but I can understand the perspective of like, it's harder for it to be viewed as a historical document because of, I mean, its age for sure.
The one thing that I'm really caught up on and have been for a lot of my life, and I kind of embrace it as a level of agnosticism, is because I'm a very scientifically minded. I love the natural world.
Yeah,
you know, I look around. There are a lot of scientific hypotheses of why this is like rare earth and all of the rest, but life itself seems, first of all, we don't know how to create life. We know like where it comes from. We have all these theories of abiogenesis and all the rest. And we understand you need like complex sugars and amino acids and electricity and water and like solvents and shit like that. The thing that I struggle with is not even the seeding of life, or not even like there being a universal common ancestor. Like everything on Earth has a universal common ancestor of that is like some micro, like multi-celled organism, right? It's that, and I guess the best way I can explain this is there's a bug in a forest, right? And he has a spine that looks like a leaf of a tree in that forest, right? Now, and that's what protects him. And it's indistinguishable from the leaf falling in the litter on the ground. And evolution says like that happens naturally over time. And I'm like, I get it. I've read a ton of Darwin. I think it's really interesting, and I believe in evolution, really, like fundamentally. Like it makes sense to me. And yet evolution went over and over and over again and gave that bug a back that looks like a leaf in that forest indistinguishably. Even how could that happen? Even by chance, over and over and over and over again. You know, mutation after mutation after mutation after mutation, and then it looks like that.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know, man. Like that to me doesn't seem possible. Like it doesn't like that. I was like, how could that be?
Right.
So to me, like I struggle with some of these things like that, where I'm a naturalist, and yet I look at something like that and I'm like, but it doesn't. That seems intelligent.
Right.
It just was like, yeah, over 50 million years, this bug evolved, and now it has the leaf on its back that looks just like the leaf in the tree in his forest. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't feel like there could be that much mutation and that much chance. It just boggles my mind.
Yeah.
I don't get that. You know? Or there's like the ladybugs, and then there's like the false ladybugs. Ever seen those like bugs that look just like ladybugs?
Yeah,
but they're not. And I'm like, but what? They evolved separately to look exactly the same? I don't know. You hear a lot of interesting stuff, like eyes have evolved separately multiple times, and you can kind of explain that. But I some of this weirder shit, like these mutations, I think, I don't know. It's tough. So intellectually, you get it. It's like, yeah, random mutations give you a better advantage. You know, that the moth turns darker, it's darker, and he can live on the tree, and no one sees him, and then all the moths are dark. It's like, okay, I get that. But the moth has a leaf.
Yeah.
That's tough. It's a tough one for me.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because I feel like I'm a man of science, in that like I fundamentally am veered towards like, no, everything has to have some sort of natural cause. But the supernaturalism is kind of fun to think about.
Sure.
And really, life is so dynamic and so interesting, because either way, it's kind of fascinating, right? Like either things were kind of nudged in a certain way, or it really did happen naturally. There's really only two choices, and either way, it's kind of remarkable. So you can't really go wrong.
Right.
Either way, but.
Yeah. Someone in the chat asked if I believe in evolution. I honestly don't even really know what to think about that, about evolution, because I do think that humans are set apart from everything else created.
Clearly.
Or, I guess, evolved, even, if you want to take that perspective. Clearly, you know, adaptation, like you said, is crazy and a very real thing. But I don't know. Honestly, it's not something I even really think about all that much.
Yeah, I do believe in evolution. The genetic, like, I think DNA since the 80s, really understanding and being able to actually see it and whatever, and knowing that we are just so closely tied to like bonobos and chimpanzees and stuff. It's like, that's interesting. And I do believe it, but I don't know that humans were touched supernaturally as a werewolf. I think we were maybe the first species to like get to have the right sequence of things happen for brain mass and for longevity and for all these different things to allow us to kind of get out of natural selection. Because I was talking about that recently. I'm like, we don't naturally select at all. In fact, we do the exact opposite.
Right.
You know, people that would have never procreated, let's say, in nature, because they would have never gotten the opportunity. They wouldn't have attracted a mate. There's something wrong with them or whatever. Like we've fixed all over thousands of years. Like we have medicine for that. You're fine. We don't judge you for this. You can still get married and have kids. So it's a very like what's happening with humanity is actually like completely unnatural at this point. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's good stuff. I'm also fascinated by life. We always use the term life as we know it because it's very similar. It uses nitrogen and phosphorus and all these different things that you need. But there are other paradigms for life that they assume exist too. That's why I think Titan, the moon of Saturn, is so compelling to people, and Io, the moon of Jupiter, is so compelling because there are certain chemistries that might come. Oh,
got a delivery from a pregnant lady here.
Hello.
It's the baby's debut.
That's very exciting. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Good to see you both. And that baby is evolving as we speak.
He's cooking. He's trying.
Yeah.
He's trying every day, dude, to just break out. Well, he's not trying to break out yet. Pretty soon.
Soon. Not too soon.
No.
Not too soon.
I do have something to show you, Colin, that's completely unrelated.
Yeah, please. No, let's move on.
This came in the mail this morning. The Superstation 1.
The fuck is that?
So this is basically like, it's an FPGA PS1 console. So this is made by a company called Retro Remake, and these just started shipping in the last few months, but this color took a little bit longer. So an FPGA, do you know what that is?
No.
I think it stands for Field Programmable Gate
What
Array.
is it? I'll look it up for you. What is it?
So FPGA. Field Programmable Gate Array.
Yep.
Yes.
There you go.
So basically, there's a chip in here that can emulate other chips. It's hardware level emulation, which is much more accurate than software.
Well, that's how they get away with it too, right? I assume.
Partially. I honestly don't know the specific details on that. So, but this is one that's specifically designed for PlayStation 1. Inside is a Mr. FPGA, but it's just kind of put together in this package. But it does HDMI, and it has all these ports on the back, so you could hook it up to a CRT.
S-Video?
I believe it does have S-Video.
Sick.
Yes, it does, right here.
I love that. S-Video was so exciting in the 90s.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's so much better than analog. Or not analog, composite.
Composite, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
component cables were a big deal too. That was fun when those came out. But yeah,
this plays PS1 games. It basically plays everything from PS1 and before. So it can do PS1, it can do N64, it can do NES, Super Nintendo, Game Boy Advance, everything, arcade.
So you don't load a disc in it.
So there is, just like the PS1, a port here. And the disk drive is not quite ready yet. It's coming probably in the next few weeks.
Are you getting that too? Oh, you must get it.
I am getting that, yes.
And then it receives your memory cards and all the rest. So that's pretty cool.
And it has, it's controller ports. It came this morning, so I booted it up, and it comes with a bunch of homebrew on it, which is kind of cool. I personally ripped my copy of Crash Bandicoot and played it on this. I personally did that.
You personally did that.
I personally did that.
You made that ROM legally.
And it ran great. So it's kind of neat. Look, I need to tinker with it a lot. It's not plug and play. It kind of has like a very DOS looking UI to it currently, and they're building a more console like UI for it. It's pretty neat. Pretty neat little device. $200.
Yeah, it's cool. Congrats. Yeah, I like the color. Color's right, which is good. Yeah, 200 is not so bad. I don't know. I just don't emulate. So not because I'm too good for it per se, but because I just play a lot of new, I just play everything through PlayStation. It's not a huge deal for me, but it'll be cool to get some sort of universal box at some point, probably. Mm-hmm. But even then it's what I say, if things are easily accessible, I really don't want to emulate them. I feel like it's theft. And really the things I'd want to emulate are NES, SNES, N64 and stuff. And it's well, I actually think Nintendo's doing a really awesome job of making those things available. So
Right.
Like I have the Nintendo Online account. They have a robust catalog of games, and then all of the publishers are releasing so much stuff that really I'm not wanting for anything. Oh, the stuff that I'd want to do is like much more obscure, I guess.
Yeah.
Like Kickle Cubicle on NES.
I'm really excited for when the disc drive comes. I have an idea that I want to do on my channel for streaming. I was going to call it the PlayStation Roulette, because over the years, I've just been slowly gathering random PS1 games that I've never heard of. Games like Swagman on PS1.
Swagman.
And I just want to check out like these obscure PS1 games. And so, I mean, I could figure out a way to hook up original hardware. It wouldn't be that hard. But when I saw this, I was like, oh, that might be kind of a cool way to do it. So when the disc drive comes, I'll do that. But I mean, I could go and rip them, of course, or something like that. But yeah, it's pretty neat.
Throw it as hard as you can against the wall now.
So the build quality on this thing is good. It is perfectly acceptable. It's not as nice as like an analog branded thing. Like you can see the button is like,
yeah, a little jostly.
And these are kind of, it's completely fine.
It was made by a Uyghur slave, so.
Oh yeah.
It's okay. It'll be fine. Now what I wanted to do today, Dustin, this post-Easter come down that we're dealing with right now. Thought we would just do something nice and easy. I was thinking of a few options. We were talking about this before the show. Like, I think it would be fun at some point to play Ghost of Tsushima or Ghost of Yotei Legends. I think it would be fun to do the Tower of Sisyphus in Returnal, which I've been doing a lot of. I platinumed Returnal this past weekend, actually, which was fun. But then I was like, let's just hang out.
Yeah.
And have ourselves a talk. And what we'll do is we'll use the super chats to kind of dictate where we're going. We'll read those as we go. We've already have some stacked, I believe. And then I'm sure it'll bring us many threads to discuss. And we'll have a nice leisurely 2 or 3 hour talk. And then it's time for me to go because it's 61 degrees outside. And I think I'm going to go for a walk today.
Very nice. I had something else to tell you, Colin.
Please.
It's relevant to your interests.
Please.
But it's very early.
Please.
On Saturday, I read the first chapter of Blood Meridian.
Oh, and what did you think?
There's a little bit of background. First, I'm looking for something to listen to between Harry Potter books. So I bought the audiobook of Blood Meridian. And it's very well done. But it's a little it's not that I'm like playing games. I was trying to listen to it while driving, and I was having a hard time. Like it's very dense and somewhat poetic in nature and how he writes. I'm like, I think I'm going to need to read this because there's certain things that I want to sit on for a few seconds. And some of it is not exactly like there was a sentence in the first one. I'm like, I have no fucking idea what he means by this. Not that it's all super hard, but there are a couple lines or there's like an old word that I'm like, I don't know what that means.
Blood Meridian, when Dagan and I did that, because we did The Road, which is like one of my favorite books we did, Old Country for No Men, or No Country for Old Men. That's what it was called. And then Blood Meridian. And I would read Blood Meridian in the pool, and then I found it so complex, actually, that it was one of the books, really the only book in my adult life where I'm like, I got to read some sort of synopsis after every chapter. Like, I'm not even really sure like what the fuck just happened.
Yeah.
Because it is very strange. It's beautiful, but it isn't. He kind of writes with it. You'll see it like he uses his own rules of punctuation. I mean, I learned that with The Road even. He just does his own thing, which is awesome.
I read that, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago at this point. But I really liked The Road, so I was like, I got to try this. This is supposed to be that's his book, his magnum opus.
I think it's highly complex. It's like surprisingly for what it is. It's like you're not reading fucking Dante.
Right.
And what I mean by that is that like it's not archaic in any way. It's just so I would like read a few chapters and then like go on some website and like read like these synopses of like how I'm like, oh, and it was actually quite helpful because usually that wouldn't be very useful, but it was like I was missing things, I think, because I wasn't quite understanding the way he was reading, but or writing. But anyway, I realized too, I forgot to put this. I keep forgetting when we do these to put them on Patreon. These aren't Patreon perks, but just so people can enjoy them if they want,
Yeah.
And then I keep forgetting to do that, which is a little frustrating. So, here we are. This is episode 42 of Sacred Streaming. That's exciting.
Wow.
So let's go into the super chats.
Let's do it.
Let me see if I can load them. Fan funding. Oh boy, we have a lot of them already. All right, so we start with Zanfair.
Correct.
Says, with Colin's respect for Marathon's quality, I'm curious what other developers make great games you can respect but aren't your taste. Mine is Capcom. Capcom is too broad of an answer, I think, just because there's so many teams under Capcom. Although that is a good answer, and they do make. I mean, Capcom is extremely high quality, generally speaking. I'm thinking smaller. I guess Larian's kind of a good example. Like, I know Baldur's Gate 3 is of the highest quality. I just don't give a shit about it. I don't want to play it. I've thought about it a few times, since it's come out, and I've went and looked at videos and tried. I'm like, I know I'm not going to like this is. But what I like about it is like the idea of playing it as non-violently as possible, and like doing you can do things like that. So that's definitely a good example. There are more than studios. There are games that I'm positive are great, but I know that they're not for me.
Yeah,
that's as we always say this, Dustin. It's important to see things outside of yourself. Otherwise, like, you're totally myopic and useless. So there are games. Well, I think Marathon and Arc Raiders are a couple of those games. I mean, shit, I make fun of it, but even games like Fortnite and Overwatch are obviously high quality. They're just not for me. So I think there's a lot of those. Anything come to mind for you?
Mine, I mean, it applies to an entire genre, but a company specifically is Arc System Works and their fighting games. I have tried fighting games many times, and I end up just mashing buttons. And I can see, like, I've had it explained to me, but it just doesn't click. And when I look at Arc System Works games, I mean, dude, especially some of the stuff they did in like the PS3 era. I'm thinking specifically of like the Persona Arena games.
Oh yeah,
they have those beautiful pixel art. And even more recent examples like the Dragon Ball FighterZ game they did. And they have Tokon, of course, which looks great. I think those look like amazing games, but I just can't. They don't connect with me on a gameplay level at all.
Yeah, it's funny because I feel that way with just a lot of fighting games generally, like you do, where I used to play fighting games. As I've said a million times, it was when I went to IGN and realized how bad I was at them. I thought I was like could hold my own based on my friends and the randos you would encounter at the arcade or whatever. And then I was like, oh, this is like, there's a whole level to this that I'm not willing to do. And so yeah, I mean, I think it's good. It's like music. It's like it's being able to see things outside of yourself. I think is just so vital. And it's disappointing that more people can't do that. I think it's kind of I got to be honest, it's a sign of a low IQ, I think. Yeah. Like the more myopic you are, like that you can't imagine or see things around you as from other perspectives. It's bad luck. So Zanfair, you're doing well by seeing things outside of yourself. And yeah, Marathon is, it's intriguing to me. I think in a quieter industry at a different time, I definitely would have just played it. But there are just too many things to like. It would just come at the cost of something else. I just don't really want to do that. Yeah, there's too many. I'm like, again, we always make fun of people being, there are no games. I'm like, dude, I can't even keep up with shit. I just do whatever. I've long since let go, and just let things come as they do at this point.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Hasp says, questions for Colin. How are you feeling about the Islanders firing Wah for DeBoer? As a Stars fan, I can't say I was sad to see him go, even though he's a great coach. Hope it all works out for y'all. I don't mind seeing Patrick Wah go. I think it's weird that I was talking about this with my mom's husband, I guess my stepdad, yesterday at Easter. The Islanders fired their coach after a few years because they're on this losing skid. They're still technically in playoff position, but it's not looking good. Patrick Wah, you probably have no idea who he is, Dustin, I'm sure, but he's one of the most famous hockey players of all time, and is arguably one of he's certainly one of the great goalies of all time. Some would argue he's the greatest goalie of all time. and he is the coach of the Islanders. And we were talking about how that kind of stuff doesn't necessarily translate. Like, just because you were a great player, one of the greatest, it's like Wayne Gretzky coached the Coyotes for a while, and they were awful. So it's almost hard to believe that you would fire Patrick Roy from a job, like considering how prodigious he is. DeBoer is fine. He hasn't won anything, is that right? Like, he was with the Stars, he was with the Knights, he was with the Sharks. So it's not like I don't know, man. I'm more interested in firing your coach with 4 games to go in an 82 game season, or 6 games to go, and but I think maybe they wanted to grab him before he got acquired, and that's happened elsewhere in the league this year. So I don't mind it, but I don't think Patrick Roy was the guy for the job. We should have never fired Barry Trotz is really the answer to that question. That was like, I can understand or see, or you want like the rhythms of things, and it's like, oh, this guy got fired or this guy got traded, and you're not too upset about it. But like, that really did upset me when Barry Trotz got fired. I was like, I don't understand this. It's like the most prodigious era of Islanders hockey since the early 80s. What are we doing? Anyway, Eli Abukasim wrote in and said, Colin, big game on Saturday between my Sens and your Isles. Yeah, I mean, every game's big now, and the Islanders are just blowing it. The only reason the Islanders are still in playoff position is because the teams behind them all keep losing. This would have been like the great time to like do something, but like the Blue Jackets are even worse than the Islanders. We got to get to other questions though, because I think that we're losing Dustin.
That's okay. I can hang for it.
Okay, let's see here. What is this? There we go. What?
This next name, I don't know.
Clean frame?
Oh no, there's one before that.
Oh, wait, there is? I don't see one. Eli Abukasim, I just read.
Yeah, and then there's one more.
There's one for you in between clean frame and, well, what does it say? I don't see it.
It's from Balwicks.
Why don't I see that in mine? I don't understand.
I don't know either.
What does it say?
It says, did y'all see the random Cash App offer for 50% off on PSN? Managed to snag Marathon for $20.
No, I didn't see that. What is Cash App? I don't even know what that is. I hear about it, but I don't even understand it.
Cash App, a once sponsor of Sacred Symbols.
Yeah,
and
like
I would read the ads on that.
Yeah.
So, and this spot obviously is not sponsored, just to be clear. But Cash App it's kind of like Venmo or PayPal, where you can send and receive money between people, and they have offers on it. There was a PSN offer. I tried to use this, and I first didn't put enough money in my Cash App, and so it got rejected. And then I did it again, and the offer was gone, and I didn't get my half off. So I need to call them. That was on Friday, and I tried to use their stupid AI bot, and it was like, oh, you just need to do these steps. Those steps did not fucking exist. So I have to call Cash App to get my money off, because I was ordering Saros, the premium edition. I was like, dude, half off. It didn't work. But for those out there, it's not apparently for everybody, but if you have Cash App, search offers and then see if you have a PSN offer to get 50% off, and make sure there's enough money in your wallet before you make your purchase so you don't get fucked like me.
You know what I was thinking was, the service Honey? They've sponsored us in the past too. That's actually how I discovered them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about, Honey?
The big controversy.
Yeah, very controversial.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about this, like, it's one of those things where I'm like, this isn't controversial. This shouldn't be controversial for the users, right? Like, I used it the other day to get, when we ordered Papa John's. I told you we ordered it like a week or two ago, and I got like a code from it or whatever. Like, just pulled some shit out of the ether. And I'm like, I understand it's fucking up the code ecosystem that podcasters and stuff put out there, or like it ingests like employee only codes and stuff like that, or whatever. And I'm like, but that's not bad for the user. That's bad, which is why I think they're getting away with it, unless I'm totally missing something.
It's a lot worse than that. But I guess I'm trying to remember if there's anything for the user that's specifically, like, if they had privacy related issues. One of the big problems with Honey is not just that they were ingesting codes they weren't supposed to have, but they basically, to my understanding from the video I watched from the main YouTube channel that did all the investigation work, is companies would contact Honey and be like, we would like to take this code down.
Right.
And they'd be like, well, if you want to take it down, you need to become partnered with us. And so a lot of companies, like small businesses, lost a lot of money because of honey. But in addition, what they were doing is the honey, like cookie or whatever it is, would steal affiliate links from other people.
Right.
So like if you were a YouTuber and you had affiliate links and you opened an Amazon link, honey would steal the affiliate whether you used it or not. So they were doing all kinds of shady stuff. Does it affect the end user? I honestly don't remember, but
I don't think it really, like, that's the whole thing, is because I think I saw that video actually. It sounds familiar. Yeah, it's like a compendium. It's one of those interesting tensions between like what is good for the user and what is good for the companies.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand. I do remember that like, yeah, people were like just using these codes that they just shouldn't have had access to and all the rest. So yeah, it's interesting, but I find it a pretty useful. Like it's surviving for some reason. I think because people probably find it useful or just don't really care how the butter is churned. All right. So we did Eli. So now we're on Clean Frame.
Correct.
Clean Frame wrote, I don't know why I don't see that. It says, do we expect mid-range PC prices when it comes to future consoles if the jump in power each half decade dictates it? I don't know what to expect at this point. I don't even know what mid-price will be if this continues. We have a whole new paradigm of pricing now. I still believe that those that can wield economies of scale will be able to produce the cheapest hardware, which is still a place where consoles are going to thrive. And yet, as we discussed, once you start getting at a high enough rate, you're getting out of the working class and even the lower middle class, and you're getting in the people that just have more money. And so the difference between having $1,000 and $1,500 is not so significant for people at a higher income bracket, and they'll buy PCs. So that's the major thing that I think is a problem. But I don't know, man. Mid-range PC prices when it comes to future consoles at the jump in power. I don't know. I also don't think the jump in power is really that compelling anymore, to be honest. So, as a console pleb, I'm quite happy with the PS5 Pro. I'm sure once the PS6 comes out and we have it and we're playing games on it, it's going to be even more extraordinary. And yet, I'm quite content.
Yeah. Do we expect mid-range PC prices when it comes? Okay, so are they going to be priced like a mid-range PC? Honestly, don't even know how much a mid-range PC costs anymore.
That's what I'm saying. Like
in the post-RAM era,
totally different paradigm now.
But I honestly have no idea.
Death Metal in Your Face wrote in and said, Pizza Hut or Domino's? Pizza Hut is so cheeks now. The thing, I was trying to explain this to Micah, and maybe you're too young and never did it. Do you ever go in and eat at a Pizza Hut?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. So so there, Pizza Hut, when I was a kid, like the red hut building, right? You would go in, you'd eat at a table. You might order, they might have like a buffet, whatever. Mm-hmm. There was Pizza Hut had a very specific thing going on. Like it was a very specific taste and style of pizza. And I feel like in this mass market delivery paradigm that they're in, the pizza has kind of become more like Domino's, Papa John's, and Pizza Hut all kind of have met each other. And they're not as distinguishable. Like even Domino's used to be more distinguishable, in my opinion. Better or worse, maybe even worse, because that was when Domino's was maybe bad. So there really are different Pizza Huts. And when on the rare occasion that I eat Pizza Hut now, which probably happens like once a year or something, it's not Pizza Hut. It's like something else, but it's not the same pizza that I grew up eating.
Yeah.
So it's hard to judge.
So have a lot of nostalgia for Pizza Hut, as you were saying, Colin, from going in the Book It program, iconic of my era. And once a year, my mom and I, when it started when they were here visiting from Virginia, and so they would stay here, and my mom and I would order Pizza Hut once a year. And you're totally right that I was like, this is not... The first time we did, I was like, this isn't quite how I remember it. And what's funny is I remember I posted a picture of the pizza in our Discord, and someone responded that was like, I work at a Pizza Hut. The dough for your pizza's old because it has not risen as much as it should have. And I was like,
good.
Fantastic.
Good. Wonderful.
So I'm going to say Domino's right now. I think Domino's is very good. it's not. I'm a Papa John's boy, as the audience knows, but Domino's so affordable. It's very well priced, and they have a great deep dish too.
Yeah, Domino's has gotten, after the whole self-deprecation ad campaign over many years, which I thought was really awesome, like one of the great ad campaigns. They have turned it around, and it is better, but we order in very seldomly. Mm-hmm. Maybe like once a month or something. Micah cooks every day,
Yeah.
And we just, we buy groceries and stuff. We don't really do very much of that, but we did order a Papa John's pizza, as I was talking about on Sacred maybe a week ago. And it is a strong pizza by delivery standards. We said this before. Like, I'm from Long Island. It's one of the great pizza places in the entire world. I know what real pizza is. Trust me, a lot more than a lot of people that would judge. By the way, that's like, where are you from? And I'm like, oh, I'm from Ohio. And I'm like, okay. So, and I know how you feel about Ohio, by the way. So I wanted to throw that out there. So they're like, oh, you don't eat, you're eating Domino's? And I'm like, where are you from? And they're like, I'm from Fort Wayne, Indiana. And I'm like, oh yeah, you must have great pizza there.
Yeah.
But when we've talked about it, sometimes you want shitty pizza.
Yeah.
And sometimes you want real pizza. And there are places to get real pizza here, and we do that occasionally as well. But it's never as good as the real thing. That's the whole thing, is that it's why I don't really get heroes. And I don't mean gyros, I mean heroes. Is because like it's you're getting a facsimile of it. It's like, might as well just wait until you're on Long Island. It's the same thing with pizza. And that was one of the major things I was disappointed in when Micah and I finally went to Long Island for my dad's 75th birthday party. We were there kind of briefly. We didn't have a chance to really eat the cuisine, of the place. But sometimes you're just in the mood for shitty pizza. But I get so crestfallen inside myself when I remember what things used to cost. And I'll never forget the 555 deal. Do you remember that from Domino's? 555?
Sounds familiar.
It was like you got like, you could get like 3 pizzas. I don't remember what the 3 was. It like you get up to 5 toppings on up to 5 pizzas for some, and it was $15 or something. Like it was like crazy. Like, it just bums me out, man.
Yeah. Well, dude, I'm not saying Little Caesars is not the best pizza. I don't think anyone thinks it's the best.
Little Caesars is like bottom of the barrel, really, but it hits sometimes.
Growing up, we had a Little Caesars that was phenomenal, and for $5, it was great. Now, that Little Caesars doesn't exist anymore. It was in a Kmart. We have a different Little Caesars now in Butler. I don't know if it's location dependent. I don't know if Little Caesars has, I guess in some people's view, maybe fallen off further. But I've had that Little Caesars in the last few years, and it was like, maybe I've changed. Could be that.
Love That Film says 3 medium 1 topping pizzas for $5 each. I own a franchise. LOL. Okay, so what was the 555? Oh, because you're getting 3 of them for $5 each. Because that was the whole thing. And that was pre Domino's revolution. That was when Domino's was like in a bad way. It's funny you bring up Little Caesars though, because it does have a place. When I lived in San Francisco, when I had first moved there and I was poor, I would go and buy like a Little Caesars hot and ready pizza, and then I would go to what was the supermarket? Safeway. I wanted to say Publix, but it wasn't Publix. Safeway, and I'd buy like I love Wishbone Italian dressing. Like Wishbone Italian dressing. It's like the oily, garlicky thing, and then I would just dip the pizza in it.
Oh, okay.
And it was good.
Yeah,
and it was $5. You can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong with that, dude. Respect to Little Caesars for being there for the people that need it.
Right. Yeah, I used to go to the one in San Francisco at the corner of Geneva and Mission. If anyone's in San Francisco and remembers that one, I used to be there every now and again, eating my Little Caesars, getting fat. All right. I got to say though, by the way, when we order the Papa John's pizza, I do the thing where I order. It's expensive. Like the pizza ends up being like $40 or something, like that. But like extra large. And then we like getting sausage, pepperoni, and onion. But I get extra of all of the toppings.
Oh,
that's the move.
That's advanced.
Because otherwise, I feel like I want topping in every bite. And you get some of these pizzas, and it's like, here's like 4 crumbles of sausage. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Give me a break here.
I just get pepperoni. I'm basic bitch.
Just pepperoni is good.
Just pepperoni, dude.
I've told the story on the show about how I accidentally came to like pizza when I was a kid.
Was it you didn't like cheese or?
Yeah, like I was just intimidated, but I don't know. Like as a kid, I didn't like cheese, even though like I loved cheese. Like I just didn't want like anything that was like, and so I used to take the cheese off my pizza, and so I was just eating like bread. And this was like in elementary school, and then I accidentally just ate a piece of pizza. Like I don't know, I was talking to someone, I just ate it, and I was like, oh, this is really good. That's like literally how I became to love pizza. It's like literally how it went.
Wow.
Very weird. I was a weird kid, if you can believe it. Coders333 wrote in and said, have you seen the Bible quote comments from Citrus Crisp on the Spotify Sacred Symbols episodes? Any thoughts? Wondering what his angle is. I have no idea what you're talking about. What is the Spotify comments?
Spotify comments?
Do we have comments on our Spotify? I don't think I even knew that. Let's see. I never look at podcasts on Spotify. I don't know why I don't use Spotify podcasts, but I just don't. I use like the Apple podcast app. And really, I've just not been listening to podcasts. I've just been listening to YouTube. So how do I see this? So let's go to here. No comment there. Maybe for the last episode. So the user is Citrus Crisp. I don't see any comment from this person, I don't think. I don't know. I didn't even know there were comments on Spotify.
Yeah, me neither.
That's not good. Well, there you go.
There you go.
Let's see. That fat white guy, 95, wrote in and said, did you all see the random Cash App? Did we read this one?
Yeah. Is it showing up twice on mine, or did he send this in twice? Because that was like where you couldn't see it.
Well, it was below. I mean, it's there, but it was just not. I didn't see it because I'm reading an order. So that's where it is for me. So we already.
Oh, it's from a different account though.
Oh, okay.
The first version.
The fat white guy 95 wrote in and said, did you all see the random Cash App offer the other day for 50% off on PSN and then get removed a few hours later? Got Marathon for $20 because of it. Now, I have a different thing to say about all this because I did get an email that I wanted to note. I'll probably say it on the show just to let everyone know. Where is it? Here it is. I got an email on the 31st of March. Did you get this as well from PlayStation? Your PlayStation Stars points are expiring. You have 326 PlayStation Stars points expiring on May 1st. Remember to use your points before they expire. So a little bit of a PSA out there. If you do use PlayStation Stars, it was if you bought a lot of games like I buy a lot of games, it was quite generous with the points, and then you can use those points to previously buy games, but now you can just use them to buy $5 or $10 cards on PSN, which get ingested automatically into your account. So make sure to do that if you have any of those, because you're going to lose them. But you should have gotten an email if you're a user of it. Spanish Deco wrote in and said, who's your favorite apostle? Mine is Rufus.
Rufus.
Who's your favorite apostle?
Gotta go with Paul, dude. I know he's the one that everyone knows, but
yeah, in the game, what did I put for Paul? Let me think. Let me see here. Where's the document? I did something for him. Oh, so I made up another. Should I spoil more of the game? No, I guess I won't. I made up another thing for like a relic for Paul specifically. Because Constantine built a church on top of where Paul was supposed to be buried. And so I made a little something special for that. I made a little something out of thin air, as it were. Yeah. Favorite apostle? Judas.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. I don't have one. Let's see. Where are we now? Oh, there we are. Aladdin Slow wrote in and said, evening. It's literally 1:55 in the afternoon. Just finished the Ari Requiem speed run. It was my first time. I don't think I want to do it again. I'm not Aladdin fast. 3:42 is my time. You have to do it in under 4 hours for the trophy. I think I did it in 3:01 or something like that. But 3:42 is very respectable.
Not bad.
Requiem is excellent. Platinum that was my first Resident Evil Platinum. Tuffy J10 wrote in and said, second Peter 3 chapter 3 verse 8, 1,000 years is a day to God. But then again, this is what doesn't make any sense. what are we're judging days and years and all that are based specifically on Earth perspective around the star, which didn't exist in Genesis before the planet, which is also not really possible, but whatever, we call it supernatural. I don't know. Do you have anything you wanted to say?
I'm looking at the whole verse. I don't think this is meant to be literal, but maybe that's not what he means either.
Alam Mohammed wrote in and said, Colin, have you ever read the entire Quran? No, I haven't. Thank you for writing in. No interest in reading the Quran. Have you ever read any of the Quran?
No, I'm not against it. I'm curious. To be an interesting exercise to read it, but I have not read it.
Yeah, I mean, to each their own. I'm not curious at all, personally. I am more curious about reading more of the. I've never read an annotated Bible. Have you?
Mm-hmm. I've read parts from an annotated Bible, like a study.
I think
Bible.
that would be. I think that would be interesting to do with like more like copious footnotes, copious endnotes, lots of references. I also, I grew up reading the King James Bible. Which Bible do you read? You must read some sort of Protestant.
My preferred translation is the ESV, the English Standard Version, or as I like to call it, the extra spiritual version. That's a joke amongst some people I've met before. But yeah, ESV. I mean, I think in our pews at church there's NIV, and people use all different translations. There are some that are less desirable than others. They're a little too much extra in there, but ESV is pretty good.
It's funny. I read it in the original Aramaic, personally.
Oh, very good.
Death Metal in Your Face says, the jig was up for me with God when I realized Santa Claus, Tooth Fairy, etc. didn't exist. It was the first of many existential crises. There is a lot of lying going on when you're a child. It's interesting. You're too stupid to know. It's nonsense. That's what's so funny about it. Like, it's fucking nonsense. And I'm not talking about God. I'm talking about the Santa Claus. I'm talking about the Tooth Fairy, the Easter Bunny, whatever. It's fucking nonsense. And everyone is just, and you know it when you get a certain age. You're like, this is crazy. But you're just in it as a child. And there's something wonderful about that.
I'm not doing it.
Oh, it's going to be very exciting.
We're not doing Santa.
Oh, you're not doing it?
No. So we don't have an exact process, but when he's really little, like, we can acknowledge Santa, but the gifts are from me. Like, I don't want some made up character getting the credit.
Yeah, he's like, right. You're being taxed basically by some dude who does nothing for you.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's so funny. Like, you don't get anything from it.
Right. So, because this was pretty close. My experience was like in first grade. My parents didn't really care about Santa that much either. And around first grade, I was like, hey, is this real? And my dad's like, what do you think? I was like, I don't think it's real. And he's like, it's not. So but he told me, he's like, but you should play along for the kids that do. And I think that's fair. And I did. Up until sixth grade, when there was a kid that still believed in Santa and everyone made fun of him.
Sixth grade, he should be fucking thrown in a locker. What a loser.
So, yeah. I remember that Christmas, everyone was making fun of this kid for still believing in Santa.
It's preposterous. If you're in sixth grade believing in Santa, you're man. The world needs ditch diggers too.
Wow, I have made apparently not doing Santa is very controversial according to the chat. The world is so shit, Dustin. Let little Dustin believe in magic for a short time, for the world crushes him. I would rather him believe in other fantastic things than Santa. But I don't think so. I don't think so. I think what we're going to do is, like, Holly will have like a present from Santa, or maybe like Holly's mom will get him a present that says from Santa, but it's like, we worked out a deal with him that they're from us. And then if he wants to know, when he has the responsibility to not ruin it for other people, God bless him.
I'll tell him.
Sure.
Come here and be with Uncle Colin for a moment. I got something to tell you.
Gotta tell you, boy.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we've talked about this on the show for sure, and you and I have had such different experiences growing up. Your parents were very young. You're an only child, you know, all that kind of stuff, and they kind of ruined Santa for you. Santa was ruined for me in a totally different context,
Right?
Because I was the youngest of a family that was over it. You know, like by the time everything was so easily dispelled, that by the time I was in first grade, I knew that it wasn't real. And I've told the story before about how my sisters were literally wrapping my presents one year in front of me in elementary school, which was like a very dispelling thing for me.
Yeah.
But I didn't really give a shit. And actually, the other thing was that my best friend growing up was a year older than me, and he had 2 older brothers, and so I was not only was I the youngest, but I was with those kids all the time, and they were good kids, but they were kind of bad in that like we would go and look at their dad's Playboys and like do all that stuff, and they knew where the presents were hidden. So like we would go into the basement and like look at the shit they got, you know, sometime in early or mid-December. So the magic was totally dispelled for me.
Yeah.
Because but for me it was different. It was because like by the time I was an accident for sure because my siblings are so much older than me. And I think by that point they're like, we can't do this again.
Yeah.
We can't. I'm sorry, we can't do
it. A few people in chat are bringing up that I didn't finish the story about the kid from 6th grade that didn't believe in Santa. That year, we come back from Christmas break, and he was like, I don't know if he was actually crying. He might have been crying. He was like, I can't believe my parents lied to me for so long. I feel so betrayed because they told him that Christmas.
6th grade. I think you're doing your. I got to be honest with you. If you let your 6th grader believe in Santa Claus, you were doing a great disservice to that child. I mean, things are a little bit different now, and they might even been different when you grew up. Like if a kid in 6th grade when I was in 6th grade in 1995 or whatever it was, or 96, I guess it was 95, 96 was the year, believed in Santa Claus, that kid would have gotten the shit kicked out of him. I'm just letting you know. Like there was just a different, you know, like it was just like I don't know. It was just different.
There were very, very few fights by the time I was in, 6th grade on. Almost in a few fights. But I avoided them narrowly.
Yeah, I've only ever been in fights as a kid, as a teenager, really. And I got beat up.
But I
held my own. I did the best I could, you know.
Yeah. There was one situation where a kid threw down his backpack and threw up hands in the hallway. He was like kicking some kid's backpack. And I was like, yo, stop. And he threw down his backpack. He's like, you want to fucking go? I said, no. And I kept walking. And that was it.
That was it, yeah.
I was like, okay, well, bitch.
Me and my friends got jumped by this other group once in 12th grade.
Whoa. Sounds crazy.
I hung out with some... we were friends. I mean, I'm not trying to talk shit about them. Some questionable people, though. And I think I told the story about how my friend Steven was dating this girl. They broke up. This was when we were a senior year in high school. So they had agreed. This guy Steven agreed to like go fight this other kid that was dating the girl now. And so like we all just went in like a small caravan of cars to this neighborhood and we had all our girlfriends with us because we were going to go to the movies afterwards. I wish I remembered what movie we were going to see because we didn't end up seeing the movie. So we pull up into this neighborhood, and it looks like we're rolling deep, but that wasn't the intention. Like the intention was like, here's Steven, we've arrived for the fight. We're going to go to the movies afterward. It's like, when you think about it, like 60-year-old logic or whatever, but we roll up and then the kid that was there, he had an older brother who had a bunch of friends and they all came out of the house. Some of them had like baseball bats and shit. There's like a bunch of us, and long story short, I got the shit kicked out of me. But my friend Lewis's car he drove this pristine white Jetta. It was awesome. Jettas were huge back then. That was like the car you wanted. You either wanted a Jetta or you wanted a Maxima. When I was in high school, those were the 2 cars you wanted, and they obliterated his car. Like it was a bad scene. I got a concussion. We had to end up going to like the police station or something like that. I didn't get in any trouble or anything like that, but I did get a hit in. It was insufficient.
Oh yeah,
and they certainly got a few hits in on me. Yeah. So that was like, yeah, my bit. I mean, I've gotten in a couple other scruffs at that point in my high school career, but it was never because of me. I just wanted to be with like kids that I liked them. What's funny, and I've said this before, is that some of those kids are cops now, which I think is fucking hysterical.
Yeah. There's my dad has told me stories about him getting into fights. There's one, like, I can't remember if it's his brother or his friend. Like, he was going to work, and someone out there were like, we're gonna find you after you're done with work, and we're gonna beat the shit out of you. And so he called my dad. Was like, I need help. These guys are gonna be waiting for me. So my dad drove to this, I think it was a grocery store, and sat outside in the parking lot with a baseball bat and deterred these guys from beating the shit out of him. Like, I'm like, dude, my dad, legendary figure.
Yeah, he is a legendary figure. It's true. It's true. Yeah, like some of the weirdest, like some of the, I don't want to say baddest, but like I don't think anyone was necessarily very bad. Like, again, when we went to that, we got jumped. Like, it was supposed to be a one-on-one fight. Remember the other fight I told you it was this, ironically, the same kid wanted to fight the same guy, I think, beforehand. And we went to like his hockey game at a hockey arena, and they fought like in the locker room.
Oh.
And I remember this really well. And then we all ran out, and my friend drove the Saturn. I'll never forget this. His name's Jeff. He's a criminologist now. So it's like, Jesus Christ. And so we all jump back into the car, and people are coming out, and someone kicks the side of his door or whatever where we're going, and he yells out the window, "Dent resistant door, bitch," or something like that. Because that was the big Saturn thing, was like they had like the dent resistance. And then 9/11 happened.
Oh, geez.
Actually, that was probably after 9/11. I don't know. Don't remember. Who cares? Oh, God. Those were the days. That was the last time I got into fisticuffs. I've never really been in trouble either, like real trouble. Mm-hmm. I've talked about how the most embarrassing thing I did, and it's a bad, it's bad, is I smashed mailboxes when I was in high school, and I got in trouble for it.
Yeah.
But it was fun when you were doing it.
Sure.
But then but then you think about how like that was so deeply degenerate that it's like even two below me, like one of those things where you find yourself outside of yourself with the wrong people or whatever. Mm. But you felt invisible, like you didn't think about the consequences of it, you know. And I think I told the story about how I used to use a propane tank to do it, because people would use baseball bats, like an empty propane tank. My friend had it in the back of his Jeep, and if you drove fast enough, it would, like, I guess the aerodynamics would lift it up, and you would just hold it out.
Man, if you hit the wrong mailbox, you're breaking your wrist.
Oh yeah, definitely.
On that. Damn.
We weren't thinking about any of that.
No.
So it's not a good thing to do. Highly and that, you know what I remember about that more than anything was how disappointed my dad was in me. And I think that straightened it out for me, where I was like, you can't go down this road. Not that I don't want to make it seem like I was a very bad kid. I wasn't. It would be totally disingenuous for me to act like I was a very bad kid. I'm the guy who like would go home and then go on Game Facts or something like that. But I wanted to be I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to. And someone said dirtbag should totally DBS Cyborg, like absolute DBS, like in the most biggest way possible. But I wanted to be, you know, accepted. I wanted to be cool. I definitely felt that. And I never was, I always had my good group of friends, but I never felt like, yeah, you want to be part of the cool kids. Yeah, right. I wanted to be cool. And you realize like how uncool all of that was.
Yeah.
But like my stories pale in comparison to like what was going on. Was not I didn't go to a good high school at all. It's one of the worst high schools on Long Island. So not a huge surprise. And we paid for someone chat. Would you have to pay for your own mailbox repair? We repaired the mailbox. We like paid for the mailboxes and got them fixed in that neighborhood. Oh, Jesus Christ. What's next? Death Shoot?
Death Shoot.
Deathshoot1 wrote in and said, it seems impossible to you because you don't know the math of how physical organic shapes get created under constraints. Maybe God is math. He's talking about the evolution thing. I was talking about the bug in the woods. Maybe. I mean, there is a natural explanation, completely evolutionarily, to get the leaf on the back of the bug. My thing is that it seems like even if you had, here's a good example. You could theoretically walk through a door. If all of the molecules line up, there is a mathematical possibility you would just walk through it. And I've seen it quantified. It's like some insane number, right? But like you could do it. It's the same thing here, where it's like you could give this evolution forever, and I feel like the leaf wouldn't pop up on the back. That's my whole point. All right. That's true. Thank you for writing in. Oh, my niece just messaged me. What is this? Sorry. She never messages me. It's this thing for her, like I have to for her high school chorus or whatever that she's in. But it literally says, hello, insert name.
Nice.
I hope you've I just saw her yesterday too. Jesus Christ. It's my sister Allie's kid. Named Ayla. After the main character in my sister's a huge nerd. It's one of the things Dagan and I don't talk too much about, but my sister's a huge nerd. Ayla is the main character in Cave of the Clan Bear. You ever hear that? That's like an old book series from the 80s about a Cro-Magnon woman being raised by Neanderthals or whatever. Interesting.
Weird.
Yeah. Deus Damocles wrote in and said, Moore's Law believes PS6 will be cheaper than PS5 Pro and coming soon. If true, will PS5 and Pro prices drop so quickly after being raised? This is one of the things that I have a hard time intellectualizing, where it's like, how can the more powerful machine be cheaper than the less powerful machine? But that's what he insists is happening. And I guess it makes sense because the PS5 Pro is a more powerful version of the base console. Really, we should be basing base console versus base console, not necessarily power differential versus power differential. The PS5 Pro is the boutique version of PlayStation. PS6 will have one of those probably. But really, it would be about base console versus base console. No. And therefore, the comparison right now would be $400 for a base PS5. Even with the price increase, I believe, without a disk drive. So the consoles are getting much more expensive, and it's egregious and it's crazy. It's the only generation that's ever happened. And yet, because of the Pro's existence, I feel like we are overshooting how much the console costs as well, both now and in the future. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard for me to even speak on it just because we are in unprecedented times. You can't look at historical context to dictate what's going to happen. I know Tom has a new video out that he posted late last week, I believe. So I need to watch that before Sacred this week and see what his current findings are.
Christian Law says, Colin, what school? I went to Longwood. I went to Bellport High School in South Country. All right. I don't know. I'm so sick of talking about the PS6 already. It's not a good sign. Not a good sign. I mean, if they are going to follow, this is what's crazy. If they follow the same kind of trajectory of releasing it fall 27, we'll learn about the console in the next 6 to 9 months.
Yeah.
Max. And I wonder if they'll have like a Mark Cerny Power Hour probably, or do something like that again.
Yeah.
They're so weird. Zeppelin Mike wrote in and said, Dustin said that the Old Testament is the prequel to the New Testament. If Genesis is the Bible's Phantom Menace, what are the Bible's midichlorians?
The Holy Spirit. Though Holy Spirit isn't introduced until the New Testament. So that doesn't really work if we're making the comparison, but we'll go with Holy Spirit on that.
Rio Yeti says Sachem here. Sachem is a high school on Long Island. My girlfriend in high school went to Sachem. That I dated for 2 years. We're still friendly. Yeah, I had the girlfriend that went to another school. That old chestnut. But she really did exist. See, I was actually kind of cool because I want to say that. I wasn't kind of cool. But people were like, oh, Colin really does have a girlfriend. And she really is pretty and all of these kinds of things because I played for the hockey team. She was a figure skater. That's how I met her at the hockey arena. And so like she was a known entity in that like she was around. It wasn't like, you know, like you never saw her or like, I'm going to go hang out with my girlfriend this weekend. It's like, no, she's there at the hockey game. So it was like, but it was funny. It's like, oh, she goes to another school.
I dated my first girlfriend was technically at another school, But it was because I was in 8th grade and she was in 9th grade, which was a different building. I was dating above. A little older girl. Actually, 3 out of my 4 girlfriends were older than me.
Yeah, that's interesting. My first girlfriend in high school was a year older than me. I dated her when I was in 10th grade and she was in 11th grade, and we went to Northeastern together, which was interesting. And she wasn't very nice to me.
Oh. I broke up with a girl that wasn't nice to me for that reason.
Yeah, she was nice to me in high school. In college, she wasn't very nice to me. And I'm like, what are we doing here? You know?
Yeah.
But other than that, I think I've dated people that were just my age or maybe a year younger. Mike is way younger than me, but that's an unusual. That was not usual for me. You know, I wasn't like 30 dating a 24-year-old or something. I never did anything like that.
Yeah, all the girls I dated were within a year older than me, so really not older than me.
Right, of course. And honestly, I think once you become adult, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
because even you see those things like the Law and Order Special Victim SVU, and you see the guy from that, and they do the meme where it's like, she was 22, you sick fuck.
Oh yeah,
or something like that, like that kind of thing. I think once you're an adult, especially once you're in your 20s, it's on. You know, and then the age differences don't really matter. And it's funny how sometimes you encounter a person. I know someone actually specifically that's with an older, like a pretty substantially older woman, but typically it goes the other direction.
Right.
All right. Let's see. Brayton Brown wrote in and said, watching this holding my newborn son, Benjamin Arthur Brown, born on Easter, sending many prayers to Dustin and Holly. So excited for you both.
Oh.
Do you think he named him after the presidents, President Benjamin and President Arthur?
It's possible. I thought it sounded like a Red Dead Redemption name, like go on down to the sawmill and find Benjamin Arthur Brown. He'll point you to where the hideout is.
Really, Benjamin would have been Benjamin Harrison, so the name would have been Harrison Arthur Brown. Chester Arthur, of course. Yeah, get that boy Benjamin.
Born on Easter. That's nice. Marathon. Yeah.
We playing a little marathon. We playing a little Borderlands.
Oh, I didn't tell you about our marathon stream Friday.
Oh yeah, how did that go?
Extreme success in terms of the gameplay. We had a great time. Shout out to Pork Poncho, aka John Pork, who is becoming so popular in the Last Stand audience. They're demanding him on Summon Sign.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
So
who is he? Where is he from? How old is he? What does he do?
I don't know anything about him other than he is from the UK.
Oh, Jesus.
Kind of sounds like Ben Starr a little bit.
Oh.
Maybe he is Ben Starr, secretly.
British. We already have a European.
Yeah, we don't want too
many. It's like a lot of Europeans. It's too many. All right, let's see. What's next here? Well, I'm glad your stream went well.
Yeah, it was fun. We had a great time. We had back-to-back exfils in Cryo, which is the super hard endgame map. So we did good.
I don't know if can we absorb any more Europeans? And their outsized egos as they sit under our protection.
Yeah. I don't know.
We have a lot of European. Our audience is probably about a third European. So really, we probably should absorb a couple more Europeans to give them a feel of, a local, a geographic kind of feel.
Let's see. I wonder if John Pork, if his Twitter account says what he does.
Yeah, let's see.
I just followed him the other day. Technical MIM guy. What is MIM?
MIM. Let's see. I'll look it up. MIM. Musical Instrument Museum. MIM software. Metal injection molding.
Metal injection molding?
Master of Management. Master of Information Management. What does MIM mean in slang?
Oh, wait. Pork Poncho. He's here.
Oh.
Major Incident Manager.
Jesus Christ.
What does that even mean?
Because there's a major incident in Marathon every time you play the game. So He's doing pretty good.
He's arrived.
He's doing pretty good. Oh boy. So yeah, maybe we'll get a couple more Europeans in there. First of all, we can pay them substantially less, right? So that's good.
Right.
They don't have air conditioning, so we don't have to worry about them paying for those electric bills. They also have no oil. So
the oil.
Earl.
Get some of that Earl down there for the marathon. Dude, I feel Pork Poncho. I didn't know he was here. It must be so alarming that if he's just sitting there listening to the content, he wasn't chatting, and then he hears us talking about him. Okay, wait. Essentially dealing with stressful corporate situations when things break and all of the overpaid execs start panicking. Okay. Still a little mysterious there.
You know, I say this every once in a while. You hear a term, you learn something, like, how did I never hear this or know this? A few days ago, I learned about a job called in tech companies called the Scrum Master.
Oh, I've heard of Scrum. I can't remember what it is, but I've heard that.
It's like a project manager, but I've never heard that term before. And then I guess Oracle, when they laid off all those people, got rid of a bunch of their Scrum Masters. And I'm like, what the fuck is a Scrum Master? And I went and looked it up. And it really does sound like a project manager with a different name.
Yeah.
They're the ones that kind of run interference.
Sure.
You know, so interesting. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? How did I never heard? You know, I worked at a small internet company comparable, but I worked in Silicon Valley. I never met or heard anyone. I never met a Scrum Master. I never heard anyone say that that's what they did. Weird shit. Weird shit. Do you know more people in Europe die every year from heat than we'd have deaths from guns?
Oh, I could see that because they are not equipped for the heat and the rising temperature of the world.
They need themselves a Scrum Master. They need to run interference with climate change.
We have another pork message. It says, it's been alarming a few times hearing my name mentioned, but it's nice. My fiance also listens to the show, so she finds it very amusing. The community has been awesome since I was on stream, though. Well, that's good. And sorry to your fiance for everything, really.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
You know what bothers me? How do you feel about this? This is a very dark question I'm about to ask you, though. Okay? It's very dark. About gun deaths in the United States. I have a problem.
Here we go.
I have a problem with us counting suicides as gun deaths. What do you think?
Well, it depends on what kind of argument you're trying to make.
Oh, someone said it in the chat, and that counts suicides in our gun deaths. Merc TV said that. That always bothered me. I'm like, well, it's not a gun death.
Well, it is a gun death, but it's not, and I guess it is a violent gun death. I understand it, but I
you cut that number out, by the way, and the number drops like by more than half. Still incredibly violent society, but not nearly as bad. That always bothered me.
Yeah.
And I remember saying that. Maybe it was like kind of funny. I said there's something, and people like got really mad at me. And I'm like, why? Why is that such a controversial thing to say? That's a different stat.
It is I would totally agree. It is a different stat. It's still an important statistic when you are dealing with that and not other arguments, for sure. But I would agree that it is a different stat.
So really, Europeans are dying at like 3 times the rate from heat that we shoot each other. And I've met, one of the great things about being, in games journalism for a long time back in the day and all that, I got to travel, I got to meet people from all over the world, all the rest. There is this idea that this is like the United, if you're not American or you've never really been to America or ever, that it's like just straight up the Wild West. Like that, like it's like everyone's like getting, like you see people strapped all the time and stuff like that. I'm like, it's not really like that.
No.
Only in certain places. Maybe in Chicago it's like that.
I would argue that I think open carrying is really dumb.
Oh, I agree.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, it's very cringy.
Concealed carry?
Yeah,
God bless it.
All day.
God bless it.
That's part of the that's what what bothers me about that? That's part of the fun. Is hiding the gun.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
I don't
need to wear it like on my what am I, a G.I. Joe? I'm gonna have it on my leg.
Yeah,
You
well,
know?
you get guys that want to play cowboy.
Right.
It's just like, nah.
I'm gonna wear a 6-shooter and really get into it.
Yeah.
Really get into it. Yeah, I've like, I don't have a license to carry, concealed carry anyway, but I wouldn't carry a gun, like, any gun with me anyway, personally. I just don't, I'm not that scared.
Yeah.
Maybe in a certain situation or something, but I'm not that scared.
I do not have a concealed carry permit. I had the intent of getting one, but I really want more training and experience before you're like carrying it around. I got freaked out when someone tried to get into my car at a stoplight years ago. But so yeah, I don't have it.
Did you have your gun with you?
No, that's what inspired me to get one.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if it was in your glove box, perhaps, or something like that.
No.
You should just keep a little snub nose in your glove box.
Oh. Maybe.
I couldn't imagine living in a society without guns. That's a very American thing, but it's crazy. I think it's crazy that people exist in the world and not allowed to have them.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, who the hell is the government to tell you that?
Right.
Crazy shit. All right. Let's see. Where are we on T-Bone? T-Bone 007 wrote in and said, fun fact, Babylon was described in the Bible and Jewish scriptures, Old Testament, long before modern archaeology confirmed its existence. Another fun fact, Babylon is a town on Long Island.
Oh.
What do you think of that? Maybe that's the Babylon they were talking about.
Could have been.
Cass W wrote in and said, do you not know I have had diarrhea since Easter's?
Dude, diarrhea.
Plural.
What's funny is I watched that movie yesterday. Do you know what movie? It is Nacho Libre.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen that movie. That's about the wrestler, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
My mom specifically was like, I know that's not an Easter movie, but it's one of the iconic lines mentions Easter. And I saw people tweeting about this movie yesterday, so maybe it's become a low-key Easter movie is Nacho Libre. I love that movie. It's great.
Let's see. Ben the Gamer says, Colin, check out South of Midnight. You'll like it. No, I don't think so. Thank you for writing in, though. Oh, you know what I did do? I pre-ordered Starfield.
Oh.
And because what I was most curious about, so the audience knows this, but like I don't pre-order games ahead of time. When I feel like the game is going to download the package in the days before, then I pre-order, and usually it tells you when that will happen. So I did that, and I was curious because I was like, oh, we're here on Monday afternoon. I was like, oh, probably they're in Maryland, so just north of me, and I was like, so certainly they'll release it midnight Eastern, and instead it's not playable till 11 a.m. tomorrow.
Oh.
I'm like, why? Like I thought this would be one of the slam dunks because we're here. We're all here in this area in the mid-Atlantic. Not to be. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm curious what you'll think.
I'm not that excited about it. I got to be honest with you. I'm really not. But we're gonna. But I'm gonna give it a shake. I'm gonna give it a fair shake. And I love space, so I feel like I am. If someone's gonna like it, it would be me. But we'll see.
We'll see.
I haven't played a Bethesda game truly. I played Fallout 4. That was probably the last one I played. And that really is the last one. So I guess, but they release so, it's 11 years ago. They release games so seldom. We'll see how it goes. I even bought the special edition to get the expansions just because it was such a good price.
Sure.
For like the price of the original Starfield, you get everything. Or you could buy Starfield for $40 or $50 or whatever. And I was like, well, all right.
Yeah.
And then I noticed a lot of my friends, again, all anecdotal, just 2,000 randos, right? A lot of pre-orders for this game, like 10 or 12. I was like, I think it's going to do pretty well for them.
Yeah.
What do you think? Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think that Microsoft will go back to doing exclusive games? Because this seems to be a thing that's like happening now, like where there's this like Gears, E-Day, State of Decay, and all these things. Because State of Decay was acknowledged for PlayStation 5 by people who've worked on it in their CVs. And I think Gears was as well.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah,
I think it's like, I don't know. I'm not super tuned into it. Like the Xbox rumor space, I guess. But what I have seen is on Twitter, and it's people that are, I think, copium, like, oh, there's a new person in charge, let's will this into existence type thing. And because she's like, I'm listening to your feedback. We want to make the Xbox, we want to go back to the old days of Xbox. But I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think you put that genie back in the bottle when there's millions of dollars.
I don't think you want to put that genie back in the bottle for them anyway. Yeah, like, I got to be honest with you, though. I'm going to shoot straight with the audience. I want that to happen so badly. Because when it does, or if it does, I'm going to dispatch Lockmore, European. And I'm going to be like, find everyone who said that this was good. Find all of the video, like clip out all the videos, and we're going to bomb these people's careers. Because I read and saw everything they were saying about how this was the future.
Yeah.
I saw one of the most annoying people in that space has started deleting tweets that he would tweet about exclusives.
I already have a person in my mind on who
you know who it is.
I know it.
And so I'm like, I want it to happen so, like, dude, because I don't give a fuck about Gears E-Day or State of Decay. It's like, whatever. You can even take Fable and Forza back. I don't give a shit. But I want it to happen so bad. Like, because I am going to make that video, and it is going to be awesome. So please, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No,
personally,
I don't think so.
It's just like, you can say what you want about me, but I am consistent. You know, like I've been against the Bungie acquisition from the fucking first moment. As an example, I told you that inorganic acquisitions don't work. You know, like all those kinds of things. Like, and I stand, and sometimes I'm wrong. So, like, I was really for the PC releases. I was really for the mobile games. I was really for them spreading the Switch. All those things they're going back on. So I'm not going to pretend like this is what I always wanted. It's like, no, this is the exact opposite of what I thought was going to happen. So you have to also own those kinds of things.
Jet Snoo says consistently gay.
Well,
got him.
Boom.
Yeah.
I got to get a cymbal over here. And the snare drum.
So, you know, there's like mini cymbals you can get for your car.
Yeah.
Maybe you get something like that.
Drumming. Yeah.
That you can easily access.
But I'm gonna have Lockmore up those people's asses, like going through all of their videos and all that kind of. So please, God, please. And Lockmore probably needs the money. So let's also hope for that from that perspective as well.
Right.
But please make E-Day an exclusive. Hear you. Thank you for writing in. Vesmolo wrote in. Said, with rising dev and insurance costs plus calls to unionize, do you think Sony will just pack it up and go back to Japan or somewhere like India? Jesus Christ. Why would they go to India? I have been thinking about how advantageous it would be for them. I was saying this actually on the Q&A on Patreon. It's kind of preposterous that they only have 2 Japanese studios. And really, they've only ever had 2 Japanese studios going at one time. Because even when it was Japan Studio before Asobi, it was Japan Studio and it was Polyphony. And it's like, games are so cheap to make in Japan and the quality is so high. It's like, why wouldn't you just invest in a lot more teams there? I was even thinking about that with Nagoshi, the guy that made Yakuza, and how his game with Tencent or NetEase or one of those Chinese companies is like in the air. It's like, go get them, Sony. Like, this is, even just publish the game. You don't have to buy them. Right. But you'd think you would want to, like, I thought Stellar Blade was a good example of that in South Korea. It's like, it's just cheap to make games here. And people like the Asian flair of games. They like the Asian flair of PlayStation, especially. So you can kind of have it all. If I were them, I would be investing heavily in Japan and probably South Korea as well. But let's see. All right. KB MG3RU wrote in and said, did Sean Eskeg tease Uncharted 5 on IG or not? Did you see this?
I'm trying to remember. Let me look it up because Uncharted.
So he put on an IG that he's doing research for a game or whatever, and it's a shot of it. It's very Uncharted. It's like a shot of a cannon.
Yeah.
Some people are thinking that this is a reference to a cut part of the first game. Okay. So like a remake of Drake's Fortune. I hope that that's not it. Ultimately, because I think Drake's Fortune should be remade. It's time. That game is almost 20 years. I mean, believe it or not, it is 19 years old. You know, so it's an old game. I just don't want Naughty Dog to do it.
Yeah,
I just think it's a waste of time. That would be such a. It is very similar to the Greek trilogy being remade by Santa Monica. It's like, why are you wasting your time on this? You had a studio that could have done this for you, but not anymore.
I think people are reading into this too much.
Perhaps. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, I guess the canon is a focal point, but I don't know. I feel like there's dots being connected here that aren't necessarily there, but who knows?
From a discipline point of view, the director at Naughty Dog would know better.
Yeah.
So, and now it could be like, I think what a lot of people don't understand is some of the stuff's totally authorized. These little wink and nod, like, oh, sorry, are often soft launches of ideas and notions and all those kinds of things. And so who knows? The theory right now about Naughty Dog is that there are 3 games going. Mm-hmm. My hope is, well, obviously one's intergalactic, and then one is, I would hope, a new Uncharted game. And then it would be nice for another one to be another new game, but maybe that's too much to ask for. Ben Schrog wrote in and said, shout out to the Christian religious talk, such an interesting mythos, whether someone believes it or not. I agree. I just generally think religion is fascinating. All sorts of religions. The Abrahamic religions obviously are dominant in a force in current culture, but Dustin, I read you as a Zoroastrian.
A Zoroastrian.
Actually, Shinto.
Yeah. Shintoist.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know a lot about Shintoism, even though, I've been to Japan.
Even though you're Japanese? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right. Death Shoot wrote in, said, does games journalism's current harshness towards Korean studios parallel their harshness towards Japanese studios in the 2000s? What do you mean?
Yeah, where's that coming from?
I don't see a harshness towards Korean studios. Personally.
I don't. Everyone loves,
Shift Up.
Shift Up. I mean, there was controversy around Stellar Blade because of boobies, but I guess there's that, but like Liza P, beloved game. Everyone loves Crimson Desert right now.
I don't know what you're talking about, to be honest.
Maybe he said, someone said he means the critics with Crimson Desert. Dude, this is getting so annoying. The Crimson
Desert fans are fucking annoying, dude.
They're so annoying.
They've quickly, very quickly become some of the most annoying people in the industry. It's crazy how quickly that happened.
I think, dude, Crimson Desert, I can't say this with certainty, but it was coming in hot. I think they needed more time on it based on, to my understanding, it was patched maybe not significantly, but major patches made during the review period. And even from the time that I put most of my time into the game to now, the game is radically different. So
cool. Cool.
So the people that are complaining about the review scores, it's like, dude, they reviewed the game as it was at that point.
It's fun. Robot Odell says, are they worse than X33 fans? Yes. X33 fans they know not what they say. They've never played a role-playing game before. That's going to annoy someone. Yeah. Crimson Desert. Well, it's just so funny listening to people talk about Expedition 3. Is like, you ever played a fucking role-playing game in your life? Like, what do you like? At some point, something's got to give with this one.
Right. Well, for me, it's not necessarily about its RPG mechanics making it a 10 out of 10. To me, the story, the art direction, the music, that's what makes it an incredible game. Right. But I do know what you're talking about. The people that are like, wow, this is what RPGs should have always been. This is what got me in.
Right. It's like, do you know that the game stops and then you take a turn? It's like, holy shit. the thing with Crimson Desert is that they're at FromSoft levels of annoyance, but it took games and games for people to get that annoying with FromSoft. You know, like Crimson Desert, just like that, and it's not like Black Desert Online has any relevance here. So like this really is a new thing. And can you imagine how annoying? So like they're in terms of like FromSoft has obviously been around for a long time. People love Kingsfield and all that, you know, Armored Core, but really it begins with Demon Souls on PS3. This whole new generation of FromSoft, they're at Demon Souls in terms of their release cycle, but they're at Elden Ring in terms of their annoyance. And that's a long distance of more than 10 years in the real world. Yeah. So they're speedrunning that shit.
Dude, so I did a video on Crimson Desert and I listed like some of my complaints out. And I got a lot of comments that were telling about, specifically the one complaint I had was how the glide works and how I was wrong. That it didn't use up too much stamina, that the momentum in it was totally fine. Within less than a week of putting out that video, Crimson Desert patches exactly my complaints. I was like, oh, I thought I was wrong. I thought my complaints were invalid compared to what you guys said. But here, lo and behold, they fixed the exact complaint I had that was apparently invalid.
Interesting.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I don't know what... They don't really give a shit. They probably sold 5 million copies at this point, but it's weird that the game was, I don't want to say easily fixed, but so quickly fixed. Why wouldn't you just delay it for another couple months at this point? I know it's already been delayed, but just... Did they want it out in the fiscal quarter? I mean, because most companies go April to March in their fiscal quarter, and so getting it out in March might have been really essential to them. I don't know if that was the case, but that's how it reads.
So, did you see anything about there was like some ex-employees that made posts about Crimson Desert and how?
Yeah, I saw that. Is that verified that they were? I guess we'll never know. But
based on how the game came out, I do think that, to me, there reads some of like what's the word I'm looking for? A way to describe it, like in the box development, like very narrow sighted, like leadership being like, no, this control's just great. What are you talking about? Like a lack of those posts involved a lot of like people that had criticisms from internal were denied and didn't move up. And then when the game comes out and there's all these like very valid criticisms about the controls, the inventory system, the beginning being boring and stuff. And then it's like, oh, well, suddenly now we're going to change this. Echo Chamber, thank you. Thank you for the person who put this in chat. So
it's too bad. I mean, I'm sure they don't give a shit really, but yeah, the Crimson Desert fans, yeah, Expedition 33 fans were annoying for a different reason. Can you believe you can equip a sword and use magic? I'm pissing people off. All right. Forever side questing?
Yep.
Says, do you think we will see more John Pork, Ben Starr, around LSM? Love seeing a Brit's perspective play off of Chris and Dustin during the marathon stream. Talked a little bit about this.
They yearn for the pork.
They do.
They yearn for him.
They do.
Potentially, people were asking me on the stream if we could get John Pork on Summon Sign, and that's up to Brad. That's Brad's show. Brad has never interacted with John Pork, though I mentioned to Pork Poncho that I would love to have him take Brad through Cryo Archive, like him and I, just because Brad's not done it. So it could be possible, but the audience, I mean, we have a new favorite on our hands.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's very exciting. And I'm happy for him. I'm happy for everyone involved. I don't even know what that means. Michael Roth wrote in and said, Jaffe fills the Greg-shaped hole in your heart. I don't really have a Greg-shaped hole in my heart. Nothing I ever do will be the same.
Right.
But I think what we're doing is better than that. I think, and also it's like I've been doing this longer than Greg and I were together. So it's interesting that people still bring that up, but I don't really, no, Jaffe doesn't fill that hole. Jaffe fills a different hole. Thank you for writing in. Mr. GN 1212 says, have you heard of the eternal life of Goldman? I don't know what this is. Let me look it up. gonna be some porn when I look it up or something. Let's see. It's a game.
Oh, I saw a trailer for this, but I don't remember when or where.
Platforming adventure. Explore a vast hand-drawn archipelago with a capital A for some reason, inspired by ancient fables and depicted in classic frame-by-frame animation, and defeat a mysterious deity. All right.
Yeah, this looks cool. You play as an old guy, and it kind of looks like, let me make sure I say this the right way. It's like Cuphead in that everything is drawn and animated. It's obviously not Cuphead's art style, but it looks beautiful.
Yeah, it does look good. All right, let's see. P. Simon. Would love to do a Q&A with you and my pastor. Talk Bible, Christian history, and video games. As a born again, your church history is cringe. This, by the way,
talking to me?
I think he's probably talking to me. Mostly because I think people take umbrage with me saying Catholicism is the original strand of Christianity.
Oh, yeah.
Which it is.
No.
Yes, it is. I mean, it definitely is.
No.
What? Peter is the first pope.
He was not the first pope. In his lifetime, he was never called the Pope.
And the church is founded what, at Pentecost?
Yes.
So what was before that?
I don't understand what the logic here is. Go ahead.
The ecumenical councils? They were Catholic, weren't they?
Honestly, don't know.
By the way, I'm hearing this from a born again Christian. Please stop. I forgot more about Catholic history than your priest knows. Oh, Jesus Christ. Catholicism is the original strand of Christianity. Everything comes from it. Orthodoxy splits off from Catholicism, both Greek and Russian. Protestantism obviously is brand new compared to Catholicism. And then all the evangelical, revivalist, born again shit is even newer. So again, what is before that? And it's always funny, Protestants are the ones getting upset about this. Protestants that were founded in the 15 and 1600s are the ones that have a problem with someone saying that Catholicism and Saint Peter himself. I think Linus is technically the first pope that knew he was the pope.
Right. I think that I don't think that Protestants argue that their organization is the original church, but they would argue that they have reformed back to the original church before Catholicism.
The Catholic Church, as we understand it, doesn't get organized until Rome makes it official, which is in like the 400s. But it all draws back to that early. We don't have to get into it. I actually studied a lot of early Christian. I don't even want to say because I don't want to spoil anything. All right. Ubermensch says, no, Catholicism splits off of Orthodoxy. They changed, not the Orthodox Church. It's not true. I don't understand why people say things like this. It's not true. The continuity of the Catholic Church remains unchanged. Orthodoxy left. And they consider themselves doing it the original way, but that's what Protestantism is, of them doing it the right way.
I don't know anything about that.
All right. T-Bone wrote in again. Colin, I know this is a long shot, but have you ever thought of uploading some USA history content? I still remember when you first left Kind of Funny, you wanted to have a history channel. I did have a history channel. It's still alive. It's still alive right now. You can go listen to it. Watch it. Colin's Last Stand. Check it out. I'm really proud of some of those videos. The one that is most timely was my Moonbase one, which is one of my favorite episodes that I ever did. I loved that episode. Basically, for people that don't know, the NASA and the military were planning on Moonbase in the 50s, and they declassified all the documents. So I read all the documents and did this video about it. It was really cool. Like what they expected was going to happen. There's this whole idea that they were going to be fighting Russians on the lunar surface, which is like so crazy. They were going to put mines around the base. They were going to have Davy Crockett nuclear missile like warheads on the moon. All sorts of crazy shit. None of that ever happened, of course, because the Russians couldn't do shit. as we all learned. Couldn't even land on the moon, didn't put anyone on the moon. They did torture some dogs in space, which was nice of them.
Right.
Just shot them into space. That was fun. All right, let's see. Pedro Garcia wrote in and said, what is your first trophy and plat on PS3? First trophy is from Midnight Club. My first plat is from Legends of WrestleMania. I think my first trophy is from Resistance 2. Trophy log. Can we go front to back?
Yeah, I'll find mine.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, Recycler. Defeat the Goliath in the single player campaign was my first trophy. November 2008 from Resistance 2. And my first platinum, I want to say, was Fallout 3. But I'm not entirely sure that that's true either.
I cannot view mine. My trophies are currently private.
Oh, you had your trophies?
Because of Roller Coaster Tycoon.
What?
Jason sent it to me.
Oh, you got it early.
He sent it to me
before
it was announced, and I was I should probably hide this. He's like, yeah, probably.
Right. Yeah, that would have been
I think Xbox leaked it on accident the day after. So
yeah, it's interesting. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, that's what I read about Roller Coaster Tycoon. So, well, first I messaged you about it and you were like, oh, I already knew about this, which was funny. And then I was reading about the platinum and it's like a 200-hour platinum apparently.
You have to beat every scenario in the game, which is wild. Definitely achievable. I could do it, but the controls are good for playing Roller Coaster Tycoon with a controller. It's not how I would want to play, but I don't think it's a bad way to play.
Fair enough. Let's see. Pedro, thank you for writing in. I haven't looked at I think my platinum, I'm kind of curious. Type platinum. No trophies to show. Oh, because I'm on the wrong page. So hold on a second. Yeah, Fallout 3 was my first platinum. My first 5 platinums. Fallout 3, Infamous, Sega Genesis Collection, Up, and Ice Age 3. Those are my first. And what's funny is that Up and Ice Age 3, we say this all the time, were like considered like easy platinum trophies. And those were both like 15-hour platinums probably.
Wow.
Which is not hard. It's just like that was what was considered cheap at that time. And I remember thinking at that time, like afterwards, I was like, oh, it would be cool to delete some of these like kind of cheaper ones. And now I'm like, these aren't cheap at all, comparable to the ones people are getting now. Mr. KYT wrote in and said, Colin, ever since your recent shave and haircut, you look exceptionally Roman. It's a bit unsettling. That's funny you say that. Micah showed a picture, like when we started dating, she sent a picture to her mom of me. And that's what her mom said about me, was that I look like a Roman. And I'm like, I'll take it. The summer is here almost. I get really tan in the sun, as you can see already. And then I start looking more ethnic, as it were. So we're getting there. I'm going to go for a walk after this, so I'll probably get a little more tan even. Silo Neto wrote in and said, have politics been curbed on LSM? I don't see it anymore despite the chaos. Did I miss an announcement? Is TDS over? Was it real? Cheers from Rio. BR, I guess Brazil. Rio /BR. Is TDS over? No. No, it's not over. No, I don't listen. I want to talk about whatever we want to talk about, but I don't feel like it's very constructive to get into politics at the same time. People just want to hear what they want to hear anyway. So it's not like it's very fruitful one way or the other.
Yeah.
And like when you say little things, then people freak out. Like I said that I didn't regret my vote and people were like freaked out about that. And I'm like, but I don't. Doesn't mean that I like the way things are going now. It means that I don't regret the way I voted. But like even the texture and the context, it's lost on people. So we could talk about whatever, but I don't know like how fruitful it would really be. And people say like, oh, you don't want to alienate people. It's like part of that is true. But I said this on the show a couple of weeks ago. If I leaned into politics, we would be even bigger. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
So if anything, I'm hurting the company by being, I want all comers. I want people to feel welcome. I want people's opinions to be respected and all those kinds of things. That makes of the firing squad circular. If I were a smarter businessman, I would just lean into all that stuff. We would probably be twice as big. I'd make way more money, and that would be the end of that. But I just don't. It's not where my heart is. Like my heart is not in the partisan stuff. It was why my political stuff, though I was making a lot of money and there was a lot of cool opportunity, it wasn't fruitful for me because it required a certain thing out of you. It required you to play the partisan game and to speak to a certain thing. And I'm like, well, that's not really how I feel about anything. There are things I like about Bernie Sanders. There are things I like about Donald Trump. There are things I like about this guy and that guy. And there's things I agree with and disagree with, or whatever the case might be. It's like, I have my certain ideologies and my certain perspectives, but I don't know. It's just not what I really want the content to be. And I found the political stuff to be kind of soul sucking. It was actually like one of the only times in my entire life where I was like, this sucks. Yeah. I've said to people before, I mean, some people look at that whole thing as like like, oh, it failed, it didn't do well. I'm like, I don't think you have any idea the opportunities that were being presented to me. I really don't think you get it. The things I like turned down. Now, I probably do even better now because of the decisions I made, which is awesome. But I was offered hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to do that for people, to like talk about politics from big things. And I said no, because I just think I'm not a partisan. And I said it specifically when the Blaze was interested in me, especially. I told him, I'm like, I don't think you understand who I am. Like, I think you think you're getting like some conservative firecracker, and I don't think you understand like exactly how I feel about things. So I'm not even sure they got it. But so I don't know if that makes sense.
I think it makes sense. Talking about let me restart. I am so over any kind of political conversation online, which is funny because I have very rarely, if at all, participated. Because while I think politics are important, I don't feel like they're a part of me. Like, they're not what I'm passionate about. It's not what I want to put out there. And it's to each their own, But I've even seen the effects of like the little bits of my political opinions that have come out that, again, are important, but aren't something that I consider who I am, be morphed into the craziest shit ever, to points of where like people are like, Dustin has a secret conservative Discord. Like shit like that. I'm like, are you serious?
Do you?
No. The only secret, well, I have a Discord server that we play Marathon on, and the profile picture is Misato from Evangelion. But it's just like something that I think we talked about this. Maybe it was even on one of the later constellations, but it's like, I fucking hate almost everybody involved in politics. I think that people that invest themselves in their identity or their beliefs or their hopes in these things are only going to be disappointed because they don't care about you. They really don't at the end of the day. And so why would I get invested in like involved or like want to try to prove a point to anybody on the internet of all places? No, thank you. I'd rather talk about video games and try to make personal impacts on people in other ways.
Yeah, I totally agree. I also think that people, and I don't mean this to be mean, but I think people think I give a shit about that they have a problem with my politics. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. It literally goes in one ear and out the other for me. Like, people have disagreed with me my entire career about all sorts of things. I don't ride like that. I think people are like, that's why I wanted to bring it up. It's like, people are like, oh, it's like, you don't want to disaffect people. And I'm like, dude, you have no idea what you're talking about. Like, we could blow this thing up in a good way. Pretty easy. pretty fucking easy. We could inject all sorts of culture war shit into this and I'd make a fortune. So you should have a little respect, actually, that I don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. That I live by the credo of like, enough is enough. I have enough money. We want to keep doing this. It's like, I don't need to grow for growth's sake. I don't need to cater to anyone. I don't need to tell people what they want to hear. But I think that like there's this notion potentially with some of our newer listeners that like they have an effect over me in terms of like how I feel or what I'm going to say, what I'm going to do. And I'm like, I don't think you care. I don't think you understand. I'm years beyond caring about any of that. You really like, I've realized that like people's outrage has no control over me. Clearly.
Yeah.
At this point. So like we've put it in the field for years now, like the experiment. So I try to look at it that way too. The thing that politically bothers me, right? Not bothers me, but I think people are a little confused about is they're like, you know, Trump didn't work out and he's not, you know, and I would agree that it's not working out very well.
Sure. Yeah.
And people say like, see, you got what you, and I'm like, first of all, you think I was going to vote for like the infinite illegal immigration, men can become a woman candidate? I don't think so. But also, I think that like people are like, oh, so I guess you learned your lesson. And I'm like, the person I vote for next time is going to be about 10 times more hardcore. So, you know, in terms of like saying what you mean, doing things, going in a certain direction or whatever. So I think people misinterpret the disaffection around Trump as being like some sort of like progressive or liberal victory. And I'm like, I think you're in for a rude awakening. I don't think that happens, by the way, in the short term, but I think that happens in the mid and long term. Absolutely. And in fact, I think the best thing that can happen to conservatism at this point would be for the Democrats to win in 28. Because the pendulum and the Overton window has shifted such that now it's swinging still, but now it's in a totally different geography. And that is what I think people owe Trump. It's like, obviously, everything else has not gone very well to the way we want it to. And really, the Middle East war stuff is like kind of my last.
Sure.
Like, to me, I'm like, I don't understand what's going on with this. But like the idea that like, oh, you got spurned and therefore you're going to vote for the diametric opposite. It's like, I don't think so, dude.
No, yeah.
I'm going to vote for the person saying the same stuff that means it, or at least I hope does. So there's a major misrepresentation of like what's going on out there in conservatism as well. But I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. Like it's fine, you know? And I think that in and of itself, Dustin, a lot of people have a problem with. Like they're like, right. I'm like, I really don't care. My family is extremely liberal in most parts, you know. If I can get along with them and we don't give a shit about all those, then certainly like some random on the internet, I'm not going to care too much about either.
Sure.
So I don't know, man, but yeah, it's too bad. But that's what I was saying is about like, there's a difference between regretting one's vote and then being like, oh, no one's ever asked me like, how do you feel about things are going on now? They just ask about that. And I'm like, well, no, I don't regret it. Knowing what I knew, I would do that. I would vote that way 100 times. You kidding? But right. Knowing what we know now, you know, now we have to look forward to the future and hope for a better candidate.
Yeah.
That means what he says. And I think that's the thing that I'm most disappointed about with Trump is that he just got by the neocons. It's crazy. I thought he was like the one that was immune. It's too bad.
As goes back to my earlier point. These people are not your savior. Any of them. Not that saying that you thought that. I'm just saying that the people that...
No, I didn't think
these people will always disappoint you.
I have to admit, too, that much of my vote... I felt bad about not voting in 2020. I just felt like it was kind of a cop-out. And in 2016, I voted third party, which I kind of think is also a cop-out, and I don't want to do that anymore. Unless there's like a really compelling possible, like a Ross Perot style, like actual viable third-party candidate. But I was more voting against the opponent as well. Right. Like, that was, to me, I was like, under no circumstances. And so, to me, that's half the win. You know? Was like, when Kamala lost, I was like, all right, good. whatever else happens. But that's where I was. All right, let's see. What is this comment? This guy's donation is less than $1 USD and completely derailed the conversation. Who cares about the money? What is with you guys? If I don't care about the money, why do you? Stop counting my dollars. Let's see. Did we read Mr.? No, Salento.
I've got...
That's the one we wrote. So now we're on PR Feeney?
Yes.
$50 super chat. Very generous. Thank you. Totally unnecessary. So there you go. For whoever's complaining about the $1 super chat, this is 50 times that. So you should be very excited. Dustin, shave your head on stream.
No.
Q. The gaming industry has been mispricing their goods for 3 generations. Take-Two's operating margin is only 20%. Why is everyone surprised with prices going up? They should be higher, much higher. I love you all. I don't want to get into this too much, but I say all the time. I'm like, I don't understand where people's minds are at with game pricing. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. It's like it feels like it's talking to children sometimes. Like, what don't you get about all of the different elements that make a AAA video game, for instance, and how that's changed? And we always use the example of like old AAA games would cost sometimes less than $1 million. But when Final Fantasy VII was made for like $25 million, that was considered preposterous and a waste of money. Again, I think you explore the whole gamut of pricing from free and cheap to very expensive. And Grand Theft Auto 6 is one of those games. They're not going to do it, I don't think, but like you could charge $99.99 for that game, and I would actually almost dare you to complain about it. You know, comparable to like what they spent on it and what it's probably going to be. But it's a non-starter. We see these circulars all the time, like, right, the scans of circulars from the 80s and 90s and even early 2000s going around all the time, and it's like, dude, you have no idea how good you have it. It's crazy how good you have it.
Yeah. I know this is not a new take at all, but I was thinking about it recently where people do complain that going to a movie is too expensive and it is a waning activity. But I was thinking about how I saw the Mario movie and it cost $8 for an hour and a half. And then I was thinking about video games. You spend $60 and some $60 or $70 video games maybe get 12 hours out of, something like a Resident Evil or whatever. That's if you play it once. Of course, you could play it many times. But think about other games where it's like, you know, we're talking pennies sometimes, depending on how much you play it, for the value of the entertainment hour, if that's the only qualifier, which I don't think it should be. And I was like, man, it's kind of crazy thinking about the hours and the level. You could argue, too, the level of what the entertainment is. It's interactive. So
you don't have to explain.
I know I don't need to preach it to you.
No, I know, but it's like I get it. Like it's nonsense. You know, like ultimately, it's fucking nonsense. Like you got $70 or whatever for Crimson Desert. It's like, do you have any idea how good of a deal that is? What are you fucking crazy? And then you complain about how expensive it was. That is like the cheapest entertainment you'll ever get, ever. I don't know, man.
A lot of people are mentioning my $8 movie ticket. This was at a very small theater for a matinee in South Pike Cinemas. Where's that? Oh, in Sarver, PA, which is smaller than Butler. But they have a nicer theater. But I know most people's movies are not $8, even for a matinee.
Let's see. By the way, Feeney, you were saying that 20% operating margin is pretty low. Even for a company that operating margin is going to explode in a good way when Grand Theft Auto comes out. But they spent a lot of money on that game. At least $2 billion, I would assume. So I can't wait to see what that game is, because I've said this a lot, Dustin, and is like your expectations for Grand Theft Auto 6 should be through the roof. And anything less than that is not taking into account how much money and time they've spent on it. And it by all, like, I don't know if it will be. I want to be clear. I don't know if it's going to be any good at all. I assume it's going to be great, but your expectations should be that it is the best game ever made. Thousands of people, 10 years, and $2 billion. You know what that means? You know what that equals? Zero excuses. Mm-hmm. None. No excuses. And when you look at something like Red Dead 2, well, Red Dead Redemption 2, it's Red Dead 3 technically, but they're capable of it, at least as an organization, because people still point to that game and are like, look at this shit. And like, look at how it react. Like when you have time and money and space, a lot of studios don't operate like that. And it's also clear that this game was probably supposed to come out several years ago, I think. Originally, anyway. Okay. Sir DB98 says, ahoy. What would you like to see in the RE9 DLC? I don't really care. I probably won't even play it, to be honest.
I probably will play it, and I don't really care either. Like, there's nothing that I'm like, oh, I really want this. Just present it to me, and I will consume like a good consumer of Resident Evil. I'll buy it. I'll play it.
Let's see. Yeah, I just don't. I mean, it's going to come. I heard it might even be until next year. It's like I'm going to be long in the I don't give a shit range at that point.
A lot of people are mentioning Ada. Ada Return might be cool. Might be cool. Or Jill.
JJJ Bear wrote in. Said Intergalactic rumored Fae game, Uncharted remake, and 5, maybe Venom. Do you think we get reveals and dates for some of these games this summer or fall, especially if Sony has to ramp up marketing for PS6 next year? Yeah, I think Intergalactic will probably reemerge this summer with gameplay, you would assume. The Fae game's obviously real. It's very disappointing, but I'm sure it's going to be good. I don't want more God of War. I think it's a complete waste. Uncharted remake and 5, maybe one of those, and Venom. I don't know that you even show Venom before, if that even exists anymore, and it might not. Before Wolverine even comes out. You want to focus on Wolverine. But yeah, I think they're going to have to get some of these things out, and I'm sure there are going to be other announcements too. I'm also curious about some of the second party stuff, like, and what happens with it. Like For Loop, it seems like that game's kind of DOA. Horizon is first party, but games as a service. The NCSoft game that's going to be on PC via Purple and mobile. So there's a lot of things to consider, but yeah, I don't know. And then there's all the third party stuff as well. I think Sony is doing decently and certainly better. I think everyone is universally disappointed with the output in terms of volume, but the games are of a high quality. Saros is right around the corner, and I'm sure that's going to be awesome. Like I was saying, I platinumed Returnal 2 days ago, and it's so funny, man, because I'm so glad I didn't do this. So I in Returnal, I used my my old save. I beat the game. And I was so confused about like what I needed and what I was missing and all the rest that I almost deleted the save and just was like, I'll just start again and then like track it from the beginning. And I'm so glad I didn't do that, because all you really needed to do, it took me like a few hours to like, it's a complicated game. So you have to like get back into the mode of what it is and what you're trying to do and what you're looking for or whatever. And then once I really was able to do that, then I was able to kind of focus in on what I was specifically missing. Because basically in each biome, I had all the collectibles in the first biome, but the other 5, I was missing like, a few things in each one. And then you can kind of like triangulate what you're missing. And it's you have to brute force it. Like you have to do things over and over again. Sometimes I had to do things like 20 times to get it to appear. But I, going into the state and doing it over and over again. But I did it ultimately. And then I beat the Tower of Sisyphus yesterday. I only have one more bronze, like I was saying earlier, which is like there's a special weapon type in the game in the DLC, and you have to kill 100 enemies with it. So I have to farm that, and then I'll be all done. Suave Spy Mojo says, why add jiggle physics to Fatal Frame? It's horror. I don't know.
Japan.
Mike is going to play that, I think.
Because Japan. That's why they did it.
Yeah, they like them titties, and there's nothing wrong with that. Take a look at them titties and at your leisure.
Sure.
The Alpine Kid wrote in and said, where should the figurative microphone be in a third-person video game? Should it be as if you are listening through the ears of the character you're playing as, or on the camera? It's interesting. I guess third person would be the camera.
Yeah.
But that's not what it really is. But that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Handicapped says Fortnite PS5 digital still $3.99 on PS Direct, FYI. There you go.
PSA. Most of this audience already has their PS5, I would say.
Yeah, I would hope that you would have one by now. I mean, I did try to encourage. I mean, to my credit, I always get everything right, of course. But to my credit, I was telling you for a couple of years now, like, you should just buy your PS5.
Yep.
I'm not telling you materialize the money like you have the money, but if you have the money, if you're thinking about it, if you were on the fence, I hope you did it. And if you, by the way, they gave you that grace period too before April 2nd, and I hope you took advantage of that. Waiting will do you no good in this high inflation, supply constrained world. Inuyasha.mp3 wrote in and said, what are your expectations for intergalactic environments? The trailer location seemed very dark, but would love some beautiful landscapes like the one at the end of The Last of Us 2. I don't know, because we don't know the nature of that planet. I kind of hope for some sort of, obviously, biodiversity, but it would be cool to be in, like, in actual structures in a city or something abandoned. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know anything about the game, and I would like to keep it that way. So yeah, I have no real insight into that. But it does seem like a wild planet, forests and deserts and things of this nature. KJ White wrote in and said there was a Game Over Greggy show where Colin, I was like, I haven't seen that. That's an acronym I haven't seen in some time.
Yeah.
Where Colin talked about a creation theory he liked, but I can't remember it. Not Big Bang, but it was about creating something from nothing. What was it? Thank you for your donation. Was it last Thursdayism or whatever?
I don't know.
I think that, let me see. Last Thursday. Yeah, the Amphalos hypothesis. The using the world to be functional. No, I don't think that's it. Last Thursdayism is a philosophical hypothesis that the universe, including all fossils, light, and transit and memories, was created last Thursday or any arbitrary recent time with the appearance of beings being billions of years old. It acts as a reductio ad absurdum argument against unfalsifiable beliefs, particularly extreme young Earth creationism. So that might have been what it was that I was talking about at the time, but I really don't remember.
I think that is a possibility. I'm speaking from I don't know. I don't necessarily believe. I don't want to say don't necessarily. I am the least likely to believe young Earth creationism, but there is this idea like the Earth can be created to look old and to have scientific properties of looking old. But I don't know if that's what this guy is talking about.
Thank you for writing in. Sorry, I don't have a better answer for you, but I go look at last Thursdayism and then look at the Amphalos hypothesis. That might have been kind of where our heads are at. Mr. Miracle 398 says, I'm just not seeing a world where a new CEO led by Xbox can go back to exclusives. What say you? If they could have, Phil would have done it, in my opinion. I mean, we talked about this a little bit earlier, and I generally do agree. Again, with my hope that they do it. I want them. If it was up to me, they would do it because I think it would be so fucking awesome. Dude, the video I'm gonna do, if that happens, is gonna be fucking awesome. I can't wait. And by me, I mean Locke is gonna do most of the work. I'll write it, of course, but and read it. But Lockmore does all the other work. I don't know how this. I do agree that some of the games they released didn't move the needle, but that's with any game, right? I mean, Pentiment was never going to move a lot of copies. Pentiment, by the way, out of all of the games they've released, is probably my favorite one that I played. But they had Hi-Fi Rush, I think, did fairly well because it was novel to be able to buy the game. And we know Sea of Thieves did really well on PlayStation. We know Grounded did really well on PlayStation. Gears, I think, was kind of soft in the hundreds of thousands. That's not a huge surprise. I mean, it was 20 years old by the time it came out. It's really just a re-release of a remaster. It's not even a remake and also Gears. I love Gears 1, but like, it's not the Gears that people think about. It doesn't have horde mode, doesn't have a really robust campaign and all the rest. So I don't think it's a good example. Doom, I think, did pretty well. Oblivion obviously did really well. What else? I mean, South of Midnight, I guess we'll see how that does. I don't think that game is going to do well no matter what. I think the game looks kind of corny, to be honest. Yeah, so we'll see. I just don't think you can walk away from the way, and obviously Forza. So I don't think you can walk away from, and I think Starfield is going to be another of those examples where it's like, holy shit, we should just do this quicker. Because you know this, Dustin, I'm of two minds. There are two arguments to be made with marketing. You spread the field immediately, right? And that's one thing. And there's a lot of advantage to that because your game's in the zeitgeist and people have options wherever they are. But the other option is to really lean into a spread shot marketing where it's like, we just bring the game later. And that's what I'm surprised they don't do. Like, to me, if I were in Xbox, I'd be like, yeah, the games are multi-platform, but we're going to release them all on Game Pass and Xbox and PC first. And then we'll bring them all over to PlayStation afterwards. Yeah. The problem with that is twofold. It's that, number one, PlayStation fans are going to get the better version of every game just by virtue of them patching it, updating it. That's what's happening with Starfield. Like, the best version of Starfield is coming to PlayStation and it's cheaper.
Yeah.
So there's something very unfair about that to your home audience. But the other argument is that you do get the shot of a second marketing boost. Mm-hmm. And single player games especially fall off and go to a baseline after a few weeks pretty repeatedly over and over again, that it's an unusual thing for you to be able to buy. The risk is that you could be hurting yourself in the moment you have guaranteed purchase. And I don't mean buying the games. I mean, within the industry, the purchase for people to pay attention. And you won't get that second guarantee. And at that point, you might be releasing the games into the wind. And that might hurt you. So I think that there's two ways of looking at it, but I don't see there being I don't see them looking at the reality and being like, yeah, we're not doing this anymore. And I'm anxious to see what they say at that Xbox showcase, because at the very least, I'm surprised that they acknowledge the game so openly. Even third parties. I don't know why they're doing that. Like when they have a third party game like Persona or whatever, and it's like, it's coming to PS5. It's like, why are you saying that? I mean, obviously it's coming to PlayStation 5. That's where most people are going to play it. But you don't have to say that. Sony would never do that for you. Ever. Ever. So I do feel like they're almost trying too hard.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a little weird. But anyway. You have anything you want to add before we move on?
Nothing that we didn't cover already, that they're just, it's the money is talked.
But if you haven't played Pentiment specifically, I think that game is extraordinary. Like I really think that game is fucking sick. And I really loved it. Highly recommended. By the way, non sequitur. Dustin.
Yes.
You and I talked about how Geno Samuel is re-releasing all of the Christian documentaries for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
So I was watching the third one.
Okay.
And I was going to text you, but it was late. I didn't want to wake you up or whatever. There's so much subtle comedy that I'm just realizing now in the way he delivers things. Like, he treats everything very seriously.
Yeah.
So, you know how Christian rewrites songs like "I want a girlfriend, free boyfriend," or "I want,"
the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, "I want it that way," or whatever.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like, Gino references those songs, and then he'll say and then he broke. He basically acknowledges the songs as that they're real songs.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so funny. It's just it's something. It's so, there's something so comedic about that. But I'm enjoying reading the comments, because I think a lot of people are kind of annoyed that he's doing this.
Oh.
And it is a little weird. It's like when you get known for this one thing and you reach the end, it's like you should have diversified. And because I remember him saying at some point that he didn't want to do this forever. And I think he understood at some point, like, this is his only thing that anyone's going to care about.
I was trying to remember. It's Christian and the Hedgehog Boys.
Christian and the Hedgehog Boys,
dude.
Boyfriend, free girlfriend.
Yeah.
Love that. They were just talking about the one where he got kicked out of Target because he was just like walking back and forth, like waiting to see if he saw any girls aged 18 to 22 or something that he could talk to. And then he put up the sign saying like, come talk to him.
Yeah.
It's good shit, man. All right. KBMG3RU says, address the embarrassment that is 28 Floors Outbreak. What is that?
So I believe it was already changed from the PlayStation Store, but I will send you on the chat on Video Ninja what it originally looked like.
Okay, let me see. That fucking rules, dude. Love that.
Yeah. Good stuff.
So I don't know if you saw, Sony has deleted like over 1,000 games from PSN in the last month or so.
I've heard of that, yes.
And they deserve plaudits for it. But who put the games on PSN?
Who let it happen?
Like, that's the whole thing, is like, you don't just publish this. I've published many games now. You don't just do whatever you want and have like unfettered access to the back end and be like, we're going to upload this and this. It's like, people are doing this and looking at this. No one over there was like, and I think I said, I was in the Lilymo chat where I was like, and it wasn't about this. It was about the game Gran Turismo, which they did rename. I don't know if you saw that. They renamed it to something else. So very similar to this, where I'm like, I want to be dead up and I'm not even trying to be funny. If I was in charge of like the ingestion of games at PSN and Gran Turismo was uploaded to the PSN, I would find out who did that and I would fire them. I'd be like, you're uploading a game called Gran Turismo. Are you fucking out to lunch? And it's the same thing with this. Like, if I found out who vetted this, I'd be like, hey, this is PlayStation. That's Nathan Drake.
Yep.
In the image. Are you blind? You're fired. But that it's just like, it's crazy. Like, so like they're getting all this credit for it, but I'm like, but you're the murderer in the house. Doesn't really make any sense. Like, why are you getting so much credit for it? It's so they're doing the work now, but I'm like, guys, like they deleted the I Am Jesus Christ clone game, for instance. They're doing two things right now. They're going after like the shovelware people, and they're going after the people that make like these replicants of games that are real. Because, and we were saying that on the show, like with Schedule 1 or whatever the hell that game's called and whatever, where I'm like, this isn't going to look good to you when those games look to come over. Or if they do, like you're just letting nonsense versions of the games on. Like what do you gain out of that? So it's good, better late than never. It's like the name change. They got there eventually. Did you see you can name change on Gmail now?
I did see that. That's something I should probably do.
It's just so strange. Like, I would fire the shit out of the Gran Turismo person that like was like, yeah, we'll put up a game called Gran Turismo. We'll type it in, you know, and they'll like Gran Space Turismo. Yeah. Okay, good.
No problem.
Oh, yeah. All right. So send 28 floors Outbreak. All right, wonderful. Send us your key art. Oh, Nathan Drake. Okay, yeah, we'll get that uploaded right away. Fucking retards. All right. Heis Ducatic wrote in and said, why won't PS let me DL premium games to my damn PS3? I don't know. You shouldn't have any problems doing that. I haven't heard anything about that. Maybe there could be an outage on PSN or something right now for PS3, and that's like the least, that's like not a priority.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that. All right. Zach Miklas wrote in and said, will you guys be trying Mouse PI for hire? Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's coming out at a weird time because it's smushed. It's like Pragmata is right there, and then Saros is coming out later. So I don't know if I'm going to get to it right away, but I'm going to buy it right away and put it on the cross media bar, and looks awesome.
Yeah, looks amazing. I saw it at Summer Game Fest, and it's such a cool idea where it's like, okay, well, Doom sprites are flat, and now we're living many, many years past that. What if those sprites were, you know, like a cartoon? It's pretty cool.
By the way, JD is saying in the chat, premium only allows streaming, not PS3 downloads. Oh, so he's talking about downloading PS3 games to PS4? Maybe. Or PS5? Well, I mean, obviously we can't do that. I thought he was talking about downloading game packages to PS3. But maybe I misunderstood him. All right. Let's see what's next. Empty Bow says, Dustin, did you finish Chainsaw Man? Any thoughts?
No, I actually would like to go read it now because I read everything in part 1, and then at some time during the second half, I stopped reading it when it was weekly. And now that it's all out, I would like to just go read it. I kind of hate weekly manga chapters. I know this is not the common feeling, but I like with One Piece right now, reading it weekly, I want more. It's like unsatisfying to just get that little bit every week. I'd rather read it all at once. With One Piece, I'm too afraid of spoilers, so I do read it usually weekly. But Chainsaw Man, I would like to go back. I got to just start at part 2 and reread all of that. There you go.
Let's see. Robert 31140 says, would the Sacred Team ever go to the Super Nintendo World in Orlando? No. I'm sure others would want to go in the team. I'm not going to that. But.
Yeah. I've been when I was just at the one in Hollywood, Universal there, and I've been to the one in Osaka, but not the one in Orlando. Mario World, it's cool. It's really cool the first time you go there. Second time, especially because the Hollywood one is not as good, it was just okay the second time. I think it's, if you're at Universal, I mean, absolutely go, but it's okay.
I've had enough of Florida for a lifetime.
I've never been.
Florida's very nice. It's really nice. It's hot as balls. I've been to Disney World like 5 or 6 times. I've been to Universal Studios a couple of times, but all that was before I was 18. The Assassin AK says, people say Crimson Desert, and he says Crimson Desert, will be nominated for Game of the Year. And I don't see how that's possible. Has a game in the 70s on Metacritic ever been nominated? I don't know, but that's not winning Game of the Year.
I could see it getting nominated.
Maybe. I think this is going to be a pretty crowded year. But yeah, you're right. It could be nominated. But the people that are doing see, this is the problem. The people that are doing the nominating don't like the game. Or at least they're the Metacritic scores. Yeah. So if the game is truly a 70 on Metacritic or whatever, 70 to whatever, then by virtue of that, how could it be voted? Maybe fan vote. But who knows? Game of the Year is going to be Saros. I'm kidding. I don't think so. It's going to be, I don't think enough people will play it to give it that chance. But Crimson Desert sounds good. That fat white guy, 95, wrote in and said, I tried to delete my chat and then change my name to make it easier for you guys. Thank you for your donation.
I think that was when we got the double.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Thank you for that. Boots wrote in and said, your thoughts on the Gospel of Austin 3:16?
I don't know a lot about wrestling, but I've seen that shirt many times.
I know that was such a big shirt, man. That was a huge one. Chet Snooze wrote in and said, is life better ignoring politics? Do you still care? We talked about this a little bit. You know, it's interesting. I didn't know anything about this person. I still don't really, but do you know the guy Clavicular?
Oh, the looks maxing guy.
Right.
Yeah.
So I saw he was interviewed by, who was it? I don't remember, but I might even just saw clips of it. I don't really know anything about him. But he said this thing which I thought was really interesting, actually, where I was like, huh, that's actually quite poignant. Where he was like, the average person has no benefit from paying attention to politics. You're not going to change anything. Nothing you feel is going to change anything. It won't matter. You're a victim of circumstances, basically. And so you should really just focus on yourself. And I was like, yeah, that's not bad advice. I think a lot of people that pay attention to politics are into it as blood sport. And I was very much like that for much of my life. I was talking about this recently with someone, like probably from the mid 90s until the late aughts. I had cable news on in the background all the time. And people would think it was Fox News or something. I'm like, no, it was actually MSNBC pretty much exclusively. Because I already knew how I felt. I wanted to hear like the other side. And it felt like Jaffe and I always talk about the West Wing, about how quaint it is now, because things are so different. And the cable news I was watching comes from that era of quaintness. It's not so quaint anymore. And so like what you really get now is just a lot of aggravation and fear, and nothing you feel is going to change a goddamn thing. Even your vote's not really going to matter. Only a confluence of votes matter. So I don't know. I just thought that was a really interesting point, and actually not bad advice. Because I learned a lot about that guy in the interviews that I didn't like that he does meth, for instance, which I didn't know. And he's kind of a hypocrite in that he tells people that they shouldn't drink and they shouldn't do drugs, but he drinks and he does drugs because he feels like he can control it. And I'm like, that's what an addict says.
Yep.
So anyway, thought that was interesting, but yeah, Clavicular or whatever his name is. I don't know how to say it. The other thing that I thought was interesting that he said, by the way, Dustin, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that this was kind of at the center, because you were saying looks maxing.
Yeah.
Is his whole, I didn't know this. I guess his whole thing, and you probably do, but his whole thing is like, the best thing you can do for yourself is to make yourself look better.
I believe that is his mantra, yes.
And there is something interesting about that too. Like, if you look more handsome, if you're more beautiful, if you're not fat, if you're svelte, if you're whatever, you're going to get better opportunities. People are going to treat you better. You're going to get into different places. And it's true. And it's maybe not fair, but it's like, that's not bad advice either, really. It's just, you do meth and all. It's like, I don't know. It's just, it's a very strange thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think he gets like surgery on his face and all that kind of stuff. I think people should just watch what they eat, or like watch their weight, exercise, just moderate as much as they can. Everyone has their vices. But it was an interesting It was more interesting than I thought. You see some people out there like that, and you're like, oh, this guy must be a fucking loser. And he in his own way, I guess. But it's like, oh, this resonates with people for a reason, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, I just recently learned about him, and so I don't know a lot about him, but it is funny that people even like that are mostly out of their mind can have one thing that you're like, oh, you know what, that's right. Because I totally agree about the political stuff. That's kind of what I was saying earlier. That's like, it's such for most people such a waste of your energy and your emotion, your ability to give. You only have so much that you can give into the world, and why give it into something that, number one, doesn't care about you, number two, there is a 99% chance you cannot change.
Right, exactly. It's for someone to worry about.
Yeah.
And you activate. We live in a republic, so you have some sort of voice.
Right.
But not always, and it's not really like it's really not worth your bandwidth at the end of the day. Look what politics, like, look at the brain brokenness in the world because of politics. Like, TDS is a real thing. It will be studied I'm telling you, it will be studied in political science classes in generations to come. And what's ironic about TDS is that it's probably what made him president again. And so hopefully people realize, if they didn't want that the best, it's what I say about games, right? The best thing you can do to something you don't like is ignore it as if it doesn't exist. Starve it of oxygen.
I'm going to go to the bathroom while you do this next one.
Oceanic 6?
Yeah.
Okay. Oceanic 6 wrote in and said, all right, Dustin's earbuds are off. Should we make fun of him? He just dropped something. Oh, he bent over in front of the camera. You can barely see him because he's in all black, and he walked up and he's got the black door and the black walls. He's very dark spiritually. Oceanic 62342 says, I put off getting a Portal. I use remote play on my iPad, but FOMO has nagged at me, especially with prices going up. Talk me out of it or not. You should have done it before the prices went up already. I think it's a use case. Like, if you're happy with it on your iPad, I mean, I don't know why you would necessarily need a Portal, but what the thing that I think is common with the Portal, and I was saying this from the beginning when I got it, was this thing is way better than you think. And if you have a good connection at home, especially if you're playing at home, which is what I do, some people use it remotely, which is great. I have not tried that, to be honest, but it's really quite extraordinary. But again, your use case, you have to have a use case. Like, do you like to just play? Like, my use case is I like to watch sports when I'm doing it. But some people like to play in bed, or, whatever, or they have a spouse that wants to use the TV, or so you really have to have the use case to spend money. But it's not very expensive. So yeah, I don't know. 250 is a decent price for it. It was better at 200, obviously, but I really like it a lot. All right. Should we wait for Dustin to come back? Because he's taking you think he's ripping like a really big piss? You know those people that pee really hard? You can like hear it across the house. Like frying chicken. All right. Let's see here. We have a lot more of these to go through, apparently. Jeez Louise. Let's see. Oh, yeah, we have a lot more to go through. We got to go through these quickly, I think, because I think I'm supposed to be done soon. Hold on a second. Mike, are you there? What time are you recording? Are you waiting for us? Okay. So, yeah, we have to. Mike has got to record with Brad at some point, so we have to move through these somewhat quickly. Welcome back.
Hello. I see the chat's talking about me peeing.
Yeah, I was saying, do you pee hard like you're frying chicken?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I said that to Holly the other day. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, like frying chicken, the sound. She's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, because I don't rip pisses. Like, I got like the little boy bladder. Give me a little pee-pee kind of thing.
Yeah. I had a liquid IV in this before, and liquid IV goes right through me. So
fair enough.
Good piss though. Not bad.
Good. Well, they let's see. We have a lot more of these to get through. A lot more.
Yeah.
But I want to move somewhat quickly if we can, because
Sure.
Mike is waiting on us.
Sure.
Let's see. All right, Aladdin Slow.
Yep.
YouTube Premium just introduced an on-the-go mode, which allows you to rewind with your earbuds. So I don't need to beg for Spotify videos anymore. Thank you for not begging for them. I'm not listening anyway. Thank you for writing in. People say that once in a while. I don't really even know what they're talking about.
You can watch video podcasts on Spotify, but I don't know how to do it, and why would we want people on YouTube? So
yeah, like we don't make any money.
People can keep asking, but we're not, as of right now, we're not doing that.
All right, let's see. Dr. John Stamos, MD, wrote in, said, would you agree that games are considered low-class entertainment compared to sports, music, theater, etc.? Can rising costs help ease the stigma? How much damage has shovelware and AI slap done? I don't really consider it low-class entertainment. I would consider sports much lower-class entertainment, to be honest, and I'm a huge sports fan. It's much more accessible to watch sports. Music is also, I think, just universal, not high or low. Theater might be a thing that's like different, but I'd never even think about the stigma. Who cares? If gaming has a stigma at this point for you, and I'm not saying you specifically, Dr. John Stamos, what is this, like 1982?
Yeah.
I mean, like, come on, man. Like, I feel no need to justify video games to anyone. I'm a 41-year-old. I've been playing them my whole life. I obviously make a good living doing it. So I'm biased. But if you don't like video games or don't take them seriously, I don't give a shit. Honcho Reckless wrote in. Had to read that carefully.
Mm-hmm.
Colin, thoughts on the Ocarina of Time remake, and will you be playing it? Brad and I talked about it on Summon Sign. You can go listen to that most recent episode to get a more in-depth answer. The long and short of it is I was actually kind of surprised that I had never really considered it being remade. And I think doing it is quite dangerous, but I think they'll do it well, and I think they'll get away with it. The thing that I'm most curious about is if they really change anything or not, because I hope they don't. There's that cut temple that was in the original game and some other things that they can do, but I'll be very interested to see it. But am I going to play it? No. I actually replayed Ocarina of Time 2 years ago, I think. So I have especially now, I have no interest in playing it. But it is a great game. I was a mark for that game. I mean, that game came out when I was in 9th grade. That thing one-shotted me when I was in 9th grade. But Majora's Mask ultimately is my favorite. N64 of the N64 Zeldas is ultimately my favorite. The Mellow Fellow says, my wife and I are telling our son that Medea comes for Christmas.
Nice.
But just as likely as the real thing.
Sure.
Tuffy J10 says, dear God, it's LOL. It's meant to state we really can equate our human day with a day to God. Time moves differently for God than it does for us. So 6 of God's days might as well be 6,000 years to us.
Yes.
But why do we even assume that God has a day? That's the whole argument. A day is based on planetary physics.
Right.
Otherwise, it's just existence. Like, right. The circadian rhythm doesn't come from nature. It comes from us evolving on Earth. So I don't know. At some point, I don't think you can scientifically justify scripture too much. They're two different things. They can be complementary of each other, though. Traylon Woodson wrote in and said, Sony announces Altered Beast 3 at the next State of Play. How excited are you, Colin?
Come on, man.
Come on, man. You didn't have to spend $5 to ask me that question. You know the answer. Altered Beast sucks. T-Bone 007 wrote in and said, brother broke my PSP response. Santa isn't real. He says really, but I think what he meant is real.
Got him.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very retributive thing back in the day. That's what I remember. And you were saying that about the 6th grader, but like it was just a thing you could hold over people.
Sure.
Skipwreck wrote in and said, Dustin, congrats on the incoming baby.
Thank
From
you.
experience, kid turns 2 soon. 90s JRPGs are a great source for lullabies to hum. Luna song from PSX Lunar Silver Star Story and anything from the Final Fantasy VI OST or wins.
Oh, that's very nice. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't thought about future lullabies. Maybe some Iron Maiden songs. Kind of whatever.
Iron Maiden.
Whatever, whatever he likes.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, he'll figure it out.
He'll figure it out.
Nerf Ninja wrote in and said, join late, so maybe discussed already, but thoughts on the gaming historian retiring. Did either of you watch his videos? I'm aware of him, but I've never watched his stuff. But I did see that that he's retiring, and I'm sure made a nice amount of money. And I think he was saying, as I understand, that he was burned out, and I get that.
Yeah.
I've been burned out for most of my career. I just don't want to stop.
Yeah. I've watched a ton of his videos. Huge respect. He's an OG in the space. And I think he deserves it. And he's doing a podcast with his wife now. And so he still exists making content, but you can't force something like that because the content won't be good. So respect to Norm, the gaming historian.
We just got an email from Patreon. See what I was expecting. You know, people thought we were full of shit about the numbers not being real. You know, like about the numbers being. So we got an email. This is going out to everyone. Hi there. We're rolling out updates to how we define active, new, and canceled member status in your membership insights. As this update rolls out, you may notice some changes in your membership numbers. These changes are expected and reflect the updates detailed below. There is no impact to your earnings in any way. We're refining how we define active members to be more accurate. Active members will now include free trials and members with declined payments that are actively retrying. This is in addition to gifted members, members with an active payment, and members who have canceled but whose access hasn't yet expired. This updated definition gives you a fuller picture of who currently has access to your Patreon. Huh. Isn't that weird?
Huh?
The made up thing I was talking about Patreon is it's like what you were saying about fixing things that aren't, like when they fix things in Crimson Desert that weren't real. It's like Colin's making that up about the numbers. The numbers are fine. Oh, that's funny because they're fixing it. I think our numbers are already accurate because I think they probably been doing this to ours. But
yeah.
Anyway, I thought that was an interesting little thing. Gaming historian, R.I.P. in peace.
R.I.P. in peace, absolutely.
Chet Snooze wrote in and said, seen the video where a guy hires actor impersonators to his house. The best is Leonardo DiCaprio impersonator being asked to recite racist Django lines. I have seen that. Like, it's like some guy in LA, right? And he like invites just like I saw him with an Austin Powers guy or something, but there's like no party or no entertainment. That's fucking awesome.
He did one with a Tom Cruise impersonator. Dude, I haven't seen this Leonardo DiCaprio one. That sounds great. I'm going to have to find that.
Let's see. The Assassin AK says, Dustin, when will you let your kid play GTA? I was 8 when I played Vice City, and I turned out fine. You're here. I don't know about that. Will you be strict on mature games for your kid?
I don't know. Probably not 8 years old to play GTA. I'll probably do a similar thing as my parents, that it just is a game-by-game basis, you know? So, yeah, I don't know when the time will be right. I'll tell you what the time is right for. No Roblox.
Oh my God, no.
No pedophiles.
Uncle Colin won't allow that to happen. Uncle Colin's not letting that happen.
No.
You can shepherd that boy.
Yeah.
You don't need me, though. You can do it yourself. Gabe August wrote in. Says, faith has come up a bit. When or how do you guys sense conviction? Maybe more for Dustin as an identifying Christian. Not guilt. Conviction.
Conviction. So I think there is some ability, like, I don't know if you want to call it gut feeling. There's something that's talked about a lot. Like, well, we were talking about alcohol and Christians earlier. Some Christians think no alcohol, period, right? And they impose that on others. I fully believe that certain Christians to be like, when I drink alcohol, I feel like I'm doing something wrong and I feel a conviction about it. In that case, I would say you should follow that conviction. If it feels like you're doing something wrong, then maybe it's not right for you, you know? So I get that. But I wouldn't put your convictions on other people necessarily.
Deluxe 247 wrote in and said, have either of you run from the police?
No.
Yes, technically. But I've told this story before. This was when I was in California and I rode a scooter. I owned a Yamaha Vino. And I would drive it from my house in San Francisco to our office, which was in Brisbane in the suburbs. We moved eventually into San Francisco, but when I was an intern and then my first 3 years as an editor, we worked out of the Brisbane office, which was, in the suburbs south of the city. And there was this road. I can almost pull up the map but it's not really important. There's a road you drive down away from the office, and then you go onto this side road to get back towards the city. And it's this windy kind of road with like hills, it's really like fun. And I used to just gun it on that, on a scooter. It's like 60 miles an hour or whatever. But I loved it. Like it would just, it just felt good. And the air's, breezing and all the rest. And a cop was coming, I was speeding for sure. And a cop was coming from the other direction, like a cop car driving in the other direction. And I see it but you can't like do the dramatic slow down thing. It's just too obvious, you know?
Yeah.
So you kind of coast. So I look in my window or my mirror and I see that the cop car's lights have gone on, and the cop kind of pulls over, and then I don't look again, and I just and I speed away, and I just like I get away, and then I didn't get caught. It was clear he was turning around to pull me over.
Yeah.
But I lost him. I lost the fuzz. So good shit.
Before we do the next one, I am going to say we're cutting off super chats for your sake, Colin.
Yeah.
The last super chat is the Everything Man, and I'm going to put a pinned message so people know that super chats are cut off.
Cool.
All right.
Let's see. Where are we? I scrolled down. I shouldn't have done that. Jesus Christ, we have a lot of these. Oh my God, where do we go? Oh my God.
Gert.
Let's see. Gert, there he is. Gert wrote in and said, I was watching some Judas gameplay the other day, and man, it looks so good. I wonder how big of a game Ken is cooking up. I'm curious how 2K will handle the release with GTA right around the corner. It's your guess is as good as mine in this regard. It feels like it's not going to be this year, and I just don't. I don't know, man. I love Ken. I know Ken personally, as everyone knows. Consider us friends. Let's come on. Let's go.
Let's go. Full reveal this year, release before March next year. That's my hope. And Troy that just super chatted $20. We'll include him because he might have been in a slight delay.
Yeah, sure. That's fine with me.
You're okay. You're okay, Troy. You'll make it.
All right. Gert, I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's unknown. There really is. It sucks. But I'm sure it's going to be great. I know it's incredibly complex what they're trying to do. Like if they pull off what they're doing, I don't want to say no two games will be the same, but it's supposed to kind of be that vibe. And that's extraordinarily complicated. And it's cool that they're giving them time and space to do it. This again goes into the whole Strauss Zelnick, let my people do their thing mantra. Like, he doesn't play games, doesn't care about games. His whole thing is like to clear the runway for the games. And they're doing that with Judas, which you can't get mad at. You could, I guess, but you shouldn't. Death Metal in Your Face wrote in and said, a crazy stat is around the same amount of people die from tripping and falling in the US compared to gun deaths. That's not a surprise to me either. People are falling all the time. I remember when I was younger, you hear about old people falling or like breaking a hip, and I'm like, what is that? Like, what do you mean you fell?
Yeah.
And then as you get older, you're like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah. I
understand. Pork Poncho says there's no way Microsoft doesn't release Gears on Steam. When we're talking about exclusives, they've been releasing all their games on PC since Quantum Break. So we're talking about literally 10 years. So that's not going anywhere. I don't think anyone thinks that. When we say exclusivity, we're talking about console exclusivity.
Yeah.
And you know that, Pork, so you're no longer welcome in the Meridian streams. The Assassin AK says, losing hope for GTA 4 remaster before GTA 6, maybe 2028, since that would be the 20th anniversary. This has to happen eventually, though, right? I would assume so. GTA 4 is awesome. You could really argue that's the greatest Grand Theft Auto game. And it's too bad that it's if you're on Xbox, you can play it fairly easily, but not on PlayStation. And they must know. I mean, obviously they know. They did it with the GTA trilogy. I'm sure maybe it will come out this summer. It could be like a surprise. Rockstar does a pretty good job of keeping secrets. Again, the only reason we know anything about Grand Theft Auto that they haven't told us is from, really old leaks from, I think, even before COVID. A lot of that stuff, like Discord chats and stuff. All right. Clean Frame. Is there any story associated with the reason you don't like video game recommendations, Fearless Leader? Yeah, because I think people recommend me video games that they want me to play, but not that I would like. And those are two different things. Now, there's a Venn diagram of those two things. A little circle like that. Looks like I'm doing some sort of gang sign.
Oh.
But there's a circle of games you want me to play, and there's a circle of games that I would like. And those don't often overlap. And I feel this way I've said this before, like the Baldur's Gate 3 was what really drew it out of me. And I'm like, I don't know in what universe you think I'm going to like this game. Just because there are cool elements of it. There are cool elements of EVE Online.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't recommend me that game. So there are
I think the case with Baldur's Gate was there was a lot of people that thought they didn't like that kind of game until they played that one, which was my case. So I understand, but I guess I just know. I've known and worked with Colin long enough to know better.
Assassin says it's in the chat. It's turn-based, Colin. No shit. What does it matter? Just because something is turn-based? Like, Colin likes all turn-based games. This is what I'm talking about. Let me do the recommending. All right? Leave it to me to do the recommending. By the way, I got my Asher shirt on today. Pretty cool.
Hell yeah. Very good.
Did I tell you about this? The t-shirt guy? I have to email him back. The guy that makes my t-shirts?
Yeah.
The company he's working for getting rid of their screen pressing.
Oh.
And I was like crestfallen when I heard the news. Because this was such a unique you know? We'll have to try it out. They have some other solutions we're going to try.
Okay.
So I call it a final solution. Spanish Deco wrote in and said, do you all get ravaged by seasonal allergies? I'm in Virginia and it's rough. Car constantly covered in pollen too. I didn't until recently. And I think that now I am starting to get allergies. Like it's not like out of control, but I sneeze every day. Like I have to blow my nose every day. Like just things that I never had to, just random, not a big deal, but things that I never had to do. I don't know if it's because in California, there's a certain kind of pollen. In New York, there's a certain kind of pollen in the plants or whatever, and you're acclimated to those sorts of things. And I'm not acclimated to this area. I've only been here for 5 or 6 years. So maybe that's something to do with that. But
yeah, my allergy season is about to begin. With spring is when it's worst for me. So late April, May, and beginning of June is the worst. So I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah, Micah has really bad allergies. And a lot of people in my family do too.
Yeah.
Monogenome says, still ripping One Piece packs, Dustin?
I wish. I was just at Target this weekend and I saw some guys in the card section. And I mentioned to Holly, I was like, oh, no One Piece cards. And these guys chimed in. They're like, oh, anytime that they restock them, guys come in and just buy them all out. They weren't there for One Piece. He's like, they restock on Wednesday between noon and 5. I was like, oh. I was like, I'm pretty casual about it. But that sucks. And so I stood there. It was like a big gulps, moment. Because I was like, well, happy hunting, boys. And I walked away. And Holly thought that was really funny that I said that to those guys. And they're like, oh, we'll see you at the card show. I'm like, you fucking dork.
No, you
think
won't.
I'm going to a card show?
You loser.
Nah.
Don't you see my wife's pregnant? I have other things to worry about right now.
Yeah. No, thank you.
I saw something that I thought was fascinating in a card store online. I wasn't at the card store. That I was like, oh, that is such a wonderful solution. And it was, you buy 1 or 2 of something and it's X price. And then if you buy any more than that, the price doubles.
Oh, interesting.
So they had like a price tag where it was like 1 to 2 packs of whatever was X. 3 or more is this. And I was like, that is so obvious of a solution. Now, you won't be able to solve for that in a Target necessarily with self-checkout and all that kind of stuff, but you could do shit like that.
Yeah.
If you really like, this is the thing. If you really cared, which you don't at these companies, right? They just want the money. They don't care. Then you would actually have things like that to ensure that people can get what they were looking for. That's what turns me off from, I haven't done collectible cards since the 90s, but when I played Magic in the mid to late 90s and Star Wars customizable card game, it was getting big, but there wasn't a rush. Like, you can get whatever you want.
Right.
You know, like I can go to the store and buy 5 packs. It was whatever. It wasn't like, you didn't feel like you were doing something wrong or whatever, trying to resell it. It wasn't a thing, you know? And I feel for people that want to play the game. And this is what I was asking you. It's like, in this era, it's what I feel about Warhammer. It's like in this era of high quality reproductions, if you just want to play, I would just scan get card scans, print them, and just play with them.
Yep.
And I'm sure people do that. And it's the same thing with Warhammer. It's like, why wouldn't you just 3D print all this at this point?
Mm-hmm.
You're painting them anyway. So it really is for the love of it's one of those things that's not for the love of the game. It's for the love of the hunt and for reselling. Because if it was for the love of the game, then you really wouldn't care if you had the original or not.
Yep.
In my opinion.
Yeah, it's really annoying. Target does have a 2-pack limit, but I guess people work around that. I don't know how people are buying up everything. It's very annoying.
It's fucking lame.
Mm-hmm.
Get a job. You know, it's cool if you buy one or two, you want to sell on Craigslist, but like this whole mechanism of, it's like what we saw with PlayStations when they were launched or whatever, and people had like these rooms full of them. It's like, you are such a loser.
Yep.
You know? And we went, I mean, I remember all of that. The funny thing is that if we talked about this, like it's what's funny is that if any of the scalpers had foresight or understood what was going to happen, they should have just bought the PS5s and held them. Glassdoor Gamer wrote in and said, how many units will Helix sell if you had a guess? Fewer than 10 million.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably being generous. It's a PC. The one thing is that I don't really understand why you would buy that and not just a PC. Unless you had Xbox games that you wanted backwards compatibility to. Understand the machine is designed to make console gamers and the PC gamers, which is fine, but that's what they're doing. So I don't know. By the way, that prediction is price dependent. It could be in the PC space. So in the console space, Sony has, and in electronic space, Sony has, even though they're a much smaller company than Microsoft, have a much greater economy of scale. They sell way more hardware. But when you're talking about PCs, Microsoft actually would probably be a heavy mover of PCs. I have a Microsoft laptop, which is awesome. Like a Microsoft branded laptop, and it's great. So maybe they can get the price down.
Mm.
And in the pre-built PC space, it would be like a compelling pre-built PC. But you have to be talking about a machine that's going to be what, 1,500 or something. Like I don't know. And it's like I don't know. And the biggest thing to me is Xbox fans have made it clear that they are the most cost constrained fan base. It's not to say they're the poorest fan base. They are just the most cost constrained fan base. They say it over and over again. Value, value, value. Game Pass, free games, blah 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 blah. Then you're going to sell them the most expensive hardware. That doesn't, pardon the pun, compute.
Yeah.
Xbox Series S is the reason that Xbox sold anything at all. You know, I think we understand from leaked data and from prognostication that Xbox Series S is by far the lead SKU. That is the cheapest console. And then you're going to turn it around and be like, now we're going to sell the most expensive one to the same group that are cost constrained by Game Pass and want to subscribe to a subscription. It doesn't make any sense. There's something the math doesn't math at all with that. But it's not for me to decide.
Yeah.
So I think fewer than 10 million is fairly safe. Solid Snake 64 says, I had to give Google my debit card info for this, but yes, please, more John Pork.
More John Pork. Well, and to follow up the very next super chat to time together, Pedro says, more John Pork. More pork.
More pork. Yeah, they want pork.
They want John Pork.
I can give you a little pork if you want. Don't know if you're going to like it.
Okay.
Stewart877 says, petition to make our fan base name Colonizers.
I
don't like that because it's about me. It's an us. Remember, Dustin, when we launched Last Stand in 2021, Last Stand Media.
Yeah.
It used to be Colin's Last Stand. The idea is that like it's more than me. That was the argument Dustin was making behind the scenes when we were figuring out what we wanted to name it. And I feel like going back to Colonizers would be leaning into that old mantra.
That reminded me. I remember a name suggestion you had before that.
What was it good?
Well, it was before you had that mindset. Do you remember this? Should I reveal it?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
You wanted to call the company Moriarty.
Oh, that's yeah. Yeah, but we didn't.
Nope.
Yeah, because you convinced me. I mean, your argument was compelling.
Well, yeah, because it was around the time we were talking before Maddie was involved about. You were saying you wanted to spin up an Xbox show and do all this other stuff, and I was like, well, that's kind of antithetical to what you want to do. So
you're right, and you were right.
Yeah.
Mono Genome wrote in and said, Colin, do you have any interest in one-off friendly political sparring or chat? I feel you and Luke Thomas could have a great chat. Look him up. I don't know who that is. I don't really want to. It's funny because like there are some people that people say, like what's the guy's name? Destiny. That user Destiny, and people are always like, Colin should talk to Destiny. And I'm like, this guy sounds like a retard. Like this is the person you want me to talk. Like this is the person you want me to talk to. Like this is the person. But generally, no, I'm not in that world anymore. I remember when I was on, what the hell was that guy's name? Fuck, I can't remember the show name. I was on some guy's show and I didn't do great on it. This was when I was still doing political content. People were like, "Well, Colin's really out of his depth and stuff like that." And I'm like, I didn't know we were going to talk about all this random shit. Like I remember he was asking me about like prison reform and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't think about any of this sort of thing. So I'd also have to know the topics. David Pakman, that was what it was, JD. David Pakman. And I remember we were supposed to talk about like X, Y, or Z, and then he just started bringing up all these other things. And I'm like, I don't know. This feels a little bit character assassin-y, in my opinion. But whatever. My favorite David Pakman videos I see these days, I don't really see him around anymore, but like him begging for people not to leave his channel because things are going bad. Like when something, like not because he's doing anything wrong, but like I remember seeing one after the election where like because he was just guaranteeing that Kamala was going to win, and then she obviously lost. And I think people were like, "Fuck this shit," and he was like, "Oh, don't
you dug that grave, bro."
Yeah.
Either way on the equation.
I mean, that guy sucks. I mean, I'll just be honest with you, he sucks. Honcho Reckless wrote in and said, the way Colin feels about Expedition 33 fans is how I feel about The Last of Us 2 fans. Like, this is seriously the best narrative you've witnessed in the game. I wouldn't say it's the best narrative I've witnessed in the game. It's the most complete video game I've ever played. I'll say that. It's the most impressive video game I've ever played. The best narrative, or no, I wouldn't say that necessarily. No, maybe the first one would be more in the line with that, but not The Last of Us Part 2. All right. Jared Morales says, wishing for a PSN profiles app. It's unusable on mobile. That would be cool. I don't know what I want to get those guys on at some point. I don't know what their situation is. By the way, I wrote a forum post over there outlining all the trophy differences for the games for Saints Lair now that the PS4 and PS5 trophies have been uploaded. The lists are different, but we're doing a different thing this time. Where they're not necessarily, one's not necessarily harder than the other. It just asks you to do different things to give you a reason to replay them. So I wrote a little guidelet, let's call it guide vela instead of novella.
Wow. Okay.
Pedro Garcia wrote in and said, I got a crazy PS3 backlog. If servers shut down, should I sell my PS3 games? I would like to add these trophies to my account. I'd be sad if I can't. That's not, I mean, never say never, but as far as I understand, when they shut the PS3 store down, remember they tried, what's so funny, Dustin, is they tried to do that years ago and then they just never tried again, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're not trying again. I thought they would try again in like 6 months or a year. I think it's been like 3 years, probably something like that since they did it. My understanding of it is that everything you buy and own will always be available and playable via PSN. I mean, not multiplayer games, but you'll be able to sync your trophies and whatnot. So even if you own a game and then the PSN stops letting you buy games on PS3, you should still be able to download them from your cache or from your library list. And of course, your disc games will still work. So no, you should. In fact, like the PS3 is absolutely the console you shouldn't sell, in my opinion, because the PS2 can play PS1 games, the PS5 can play PS4 games, but the PS3 can play PS3 games, and that's it. And until that's different, which it might be one day, I assume it will be one day, but we've assumed that for a long time at this point. You don't sell your PS3. That would be a horrible mistake. Honcho Reckless says Masato is the best girl in Eva.
Correct. And most other choices means you are a pedophile.
By the way, Radic says he's in the chat. Good to see you, Radic. That's great, by the way. Radic says it's been 5 years, dude. 5 years.
5 years.
Since they tried to shut down the PSN on PS3. Crazy.
Is Radic equal in PlayStation autism as you?
Yeah. In fact, I think he's probably more extreme in some ways than I am. I think he's a younger man.
Yeah.
You know, I have been around playing PlayStation as PlayStation has been around the entire time. You just ingest a lot of things like that.
Sure.
Him, Mystic Ryan, and Sandy Bry are the 3 of the 4 PlayStation autists.
The Autism Council of PlayStation.
A
meeting of the minds. That would be an interesting Sacred Symbols Plus episode.
I mean, I said it before, in like a future where like Chris quit or whatever, and you didn't want to do the show or whatever anymore, I would probably just do a different show than Sacred Symbols, but those would be the guys I would go after.
Yeah.
And it would be a different show. Like our show is much stupider. And I don't mean in terms of quality, it's just funny and it's silly. those guys you could really go crazy with. But that's also not necessarily the show I want to do.
Yeah.
At the same time, that's never been the show I've done. So, but those are the guys. I mean, those are the guys. Mystic, Sandeep Rai, and Radic for sure. Bioshock 123ification says, unsure if you've talked about Iran. Doubt you support it. Thoughts on U.S. threatening to bomb their energy infrastructure? Don't Americans think this is a war crime? I don't think we think about the war crime angle so much as we think about we didn't want more Middle Eastern wars. It's not even been a generation. It's not even like you can forget. It's like, oh, the lessons of Vietnam have been forgotten. It's like we were just, people my age were in Iraq, like fighting, and now we're back in Iran again. Listen, the Iranian regime is awful. I was talking to my stepdad yesterday at Easter, and he was a naval intelligence officer, and he's retired now, but he was an FBI analyst. And he and I had agreed. Actually, he retired when Trump offered to buy everyone out. And he's like, all right. So, and he's a professor now at a college in Virginia. But we were talking. I'm like, the time to have gone after Iran was in the early 80s. Do you know anything about the Beirut bombing, Dustin, when they bombed the Marine base?
No.
They killed like hundreds of people, and at that, and I'd be like, that would have been intolerable. I'd be like, oh my God, we're gonna go fuck these dudes up, bad.
Yeah. And
that was when we should have done it. And what's ironic was Reagan was the president at that time, but he had no political capital. Reagan wasn't popular in his first term until late, so he had a hard time dealing with that. And then the can got kicked over and over again. Iran is certainly a problem when we don't want them to have a nuclear weapon, but I also just don't. I think it's Europe's problem more than ours. Their their ICBMs would hit Europe, not us. Yeah. And I also think we probably have, the Iron Dome, Dustin, obviously around Israel. Can you imagine what we have? Like, we just don't show it.
Yeah.
And I was saying, and I think it's pretty well known, like there are obviously weapon conventions that not weaponize space. And I'm like, I guarantee you, we have satellite array, like anti-missile satellite arrays in space. Like, no doubt about it. Have you ever seen the space shuttle? That's the Air Force space shuttle that like no one acknowledges, that like goes up and down to space. It's like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Wonder what that's all about. So don't want more Middle Eastern wars. Don't want wars anywhere. I don't think any of this shit is really our problem. I want isolationism USA, Fortress USA. That's what I want. Thank you for writing in. X Megal X probably said something bad there. Will PSN ever offer friends bundles like Steam? I don't know. Probably not.
Neat idea.
Probably not. Troy Branch wrote in and said, I've been out the last month. Plus, what did you guys think about PSN dynamic pricing and console renting? Console renting is old. I think that's fine. I don't really give a shit. The subsidy stuff is interesting. Xbox was the one that started doing that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Dynamic pricing we talked about on Sacred Symbol, so you should go check that out. I don't want to get too deep into it here. I think we all agree that it's inherently backwards predatory. Like it's hard to, someone gets a good deal, someone doesn't get the good deal. It doesn't seem fair. Yeah. And it seems like the ones who are going to got more are the ones who spend less. Like, why would you ever give me a dynamic price? Why would like the algorithm ever tell PSN, oh, this guy buys a couple $1,000s of games a year at least, give him a deal? No, what they're going to say is this guy buys a couple $1,000s of full price games. Never give him a deal, ever. Give the guy the deal that's scrubbing PSN constantly but never buys anything. That's the guy you give the deal. And I feel like that's kind of unfair. It's what I was saying. Remember when we were talking about console acquisition for PlayStation Direct? And I'm like, why wouldn't it be based on who are the most hardcore PlayStation audience? Yeah. Like, I'm not saying for me as a media person or you as a media person, but like, well, me specifically, right? It's like, me should have zero problem getting a PlayStation 6 because I am probably in the top 0.1% of your player base. You know that from the PSN, and I should get a fucking email offer,
right,
ensuring that I get the console. That's like the way you take care of your customers, in my opinion, not the other way around. I understand you want to spread the field, but really you should be taking care of people like me. And I don't want free things. I want access. So that like when PS6 comes out, like I should just have early access to the PS6 buy. And what bothers me about that, Dustin, is they know. It's like, it's not even that they have to go and look. They could just have a printer spit it out of like, these are the people that are obviously the most engaged.
Yeah.
Make sure all of them get an email from PlayStation Direct. And maybe 1% of them will even use it. But like, That bothers the shit out of me, actually. Where it's like there should be no question of me getting a PlayStation 6.
Yeah, whoever's buying the most.
And again, it's not like a self-important thing. It's like, just look at the numbers, dummies. You want me to have that because I'll buy games and we'll make this. Well, the going will be good, but that's too easy, so they won't do that.
No.
Tuffy wrote in again, said, tell it to Maddie who thinks games should be $50. Oh, about the game pricing. Some games should be $50.
Sure.
But games capping out at $50 is I don't want to say Maddie was this, but like any game being $50, it's economically illiterate. Ultimately, it's not possible. Chronicles of WA says, Colin, can you delete someone and make room for me on PSN? Same name as here, so I can stop looking you up on my app, please. Listener since early days. Here's what I'll do for you. Well, no, I don't want to do this because then someone else will fill it in. How do you even? I'm on the app now. How do you even use this thing? I never even use my friends list app on this. The app's pretty snappy.
It is good. Yeah, it's not bad.
All right, I have a request which I'm declining, and then I'll add you. Let's see. Chronicles. Oops. Of. Oh, I spelled Chronicles wrong. Chronicles of WA. There you are. All right.
And he's ruined it for everyone because it's not happening for anyone else.
Oh, he got me. He did it. He did it. He gave me a friend request because when I went to add him, it's like, this person has requested you. There you are. We're friends now. Hey, 1426 wrote in and said, Mega Man Star Force is my favorite A+ collection. I am not. I actually went back and read my review of Star Force at IGN, and I fucking shit on that game because it was Battle Network. What bothered me about it was I was like, this is just Battle Network. It's the DS Battle Network, and it's the same kind of game. I was like so annoyed, and I remember a lot of people being annoyed at that time. It's about what you kind of grew up with or like what you were playing at the time. The fun thing about the Star Force collection, Dustin, is that there's nowhere else to go except for one direction, isn't there? Is that why you're wearing that shirt?
Yeah, we'll say that, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I wear it in general in support. Always.
There's only one now Capcom has said that there's no plans to do that. I'm like, Legends 1, Legends 2, Tronbon would be an interesting, and that would be it. I mean, the other thing is that there could be a miscellanea Mega Man collection, which I wonder if Legends would just be part of that. Mm-hmm. Mega Man Soccer, Battle and Chase, Power Battle. The Game Boy games have still not been released, although I think they're available on Nintendo, like in the eStore, like as part of the subscription. So there are a few more things they can do, but that's really network transmission, that kind of shit. But there's a few, there's only one series left, and it's Legends. And I do wonder if they'll do it. I assume they will. Mega Man Legends 1 was a fairly special game. It reminds me of Dagon. Dagon bought it for me for my birthday in 9th grade, 1998. I remember that very, very well. The Assassin wrote in and said, Colin should stream Starfield with Maddie. Can't I just enjoy a game? Maybe we'll stream it next week if I like it. Yeah. We'll know this time next week probably if I like it or not. The Brownie Bro wrote in and said, stream idea, Russian roulette, where the Sacred Boys cosplay as various PlayStation studios and Herman Hulst's face on the gun. Last studio is crowned champion. Jesus Christ.
Goodness.
Commander Shepard says, Colin, if you were running for president, who in Last Stand Media would be your running mate? Well, Chris, probably.
It has to be Chris. It's already been dictated.
I still I have the only official Moriarty ray gun sign, like the actual lawn sign that someone made for me in the Reagan Bush, like red, white, and blue thing in my garage hanging up. It's the only one of its kind. Commander Shepard. Oh, I'm sorry, I read that one. Mega Man EH says, Canadian here. Still hoping for LSM Live in Toronto one day. Question, Shadow of the Colossus is the best PS2 game in my opinion. What are your favorites? Toronto is a reasonable thing. Canadians haven't been very nice to us, though. Let's be honest. True. To our company and to us. But you're nice to us. So we'll answer your question. Animusha, the Animusha series, Metal Gear Solid 2. Final Fantasy 12, maybe. It's funny, man. The PS2 is like my least favorite PlayStation console, which I know is so controversial to people. But it's like the one that I care about the least.
Yeah. Kingdom Hearts 2, Metal Gear Solid 2, you mentioned. I know a lot of people put the Grand Theft Auto games, of course. Tony Hawk, all of them are great. Almost all of them are great on PS2.
Tony Hawk.
Anthony Hawk's professional skateboarder.
Mr. GN1212 says, for each, give me your ideal PS6 launch exclusive launch lineup. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not convinced there's going to be exclusive games on PS6. Like, I don't even know that they'll even bother to pretend that that's going to be a thing this time. They kind of pretended that was going to be a thing with PS5. And ultimately, we got there with PS5. But the PS6 seems like such a non-starter for so many people that it's like it feels crazy to put games only on it, and yet that will be necessary to get it adopted. And so I don't know if there's a contradiction in my own feelings, but I'm having a very, very I've been in this industry a long time. I'm having a very hard time envisioning what this is going to be.
Yeah.
And how it's going to go. It doesn't seem like there's any hunger for it at all. And I remember this time, so this would be 2012 in PS3 era, like we were dying for the PlayStation 4, but at this point, we're like, oh my God, like please, like anything about Orbis. And like the new PlayStation was like, and PS5 to a lesser degree, but now it just doesn't, we're a year out and it's like no one cares.
Yeah.
Like I care about the handheld a lot more than I care about the console, even, to be honest. We'll see. Cyanide says, can we get more Colin and Micah streams, please? Love the chemistry. Yeah, we will do that. We have kind of an internet connection issue in our home, which is weird because we have plenty of bandwidth, but the video quality goes down a lot when we're both on. And I can't quite explain that, to be honest. It's not like we're on like a baud, like 28.8 baud modem or something. It's like we have good internet, but wasn't meant to be. Koozie31 says, could you tell me why Sony's only successful live service game, Helldivers 2, is the only one that's not super feminine? Who's allowing these designs? It's not their only successful live service game, but MLB The Show is extremely successful as well. Although it's also not very feminine. I don't know, man. I'm not totally convinced by the feminization and all the character design stuff matters, but I don't think the women. I did say that I do think the women protagonist in the PlayStation games thing is getting weird. It's getting like really weird, especially if you consider like the new Uncharted game could be a Cassie Drake game, so that's just another one where it's like, Jesus Christ, like are there any men in any of these games anymore, like any male protagonists? And then they're like Wolverine and Saros, but we'll see what happens. I don't know. Who's allowing for these designs? His name is Herman Holst. Thank you for writing in. Troy Branch wrote in and said, my 4-year-old has been playing Spyro, Katamari, Kirby All-Stars, RC Helicopter. I let her play Sonic 2, and now she's watching the cartoons. Have I failed as a father to protect her? Will this lead to Sonic 2? It might.
Yeah, you got to be careful. It's not necessarily that you failed yet. You're at an inflection point, Troy. Be careful.
Shawnee Quest says, Colin, movie trivia time. Lionel Pritchard and the Wolfington brothers are back. That's from Signs. I love that
movie.
Yeah, have you ever seen that movie?
Oh yeah,
I love that movie.
I think it's a great movie. Obviously he fell off big time, but I like the movie The Village.
I do too.
I think that was a really cool movie. I know a lot of people hated it, and dude, after that, like, The Shape of Water, The Happening.
That was the last one I saw. I saw that in the theater.
I saw it in the theater too, and I was like, man, this sucks.
I love, I think Sixth Sense is really good and Unbreakable is good, but that run of Signs into The Village I thought was like pinnacle. And I'll always remember I saw The Village in the theater with Dagan and his wife. And his wife predicted what the movie was about.
Whoa.
I was like, holy shit. How did you know that? I thought that movie was extraordinary.
The Shape of Water, is that not? It's called Lady in the Water. What's Shape of Water?
That's the one with the weird alien creature, right? In it.
Shape of Water is the Guillermo del Toro movie,
right? That's
where
one,
she fucks the sea monster guy. I also
merman.
saw that. It was okay, but it's called Lady of the Water, or I don't know. I don't care what it's called. It's bad.
Who gives a shit? All right, let's see. Oh man, where are we here? Woodsy, sorry. Curious how you will think the midterms will go. I'm thinking the Dems will retake the House and the Senate is a toss-up. Also, shout out to The Rest is History. The Rest is History is so good. Oh, what a show. Those guys are so great. Tom Holland and what's the Sandberg, something like that. I can't remember his name. Dominic Sandburn, something like that. They're so funny. And so insightful. I think you're right. The Dems will absolutely take the House. Senate, yeah, probably toss up. The map will benefit Republicans forever in the Senate because of the nature of the Senate, but there's no doubt the Democrats will take the House. I think it's like how much will they take it, and that's the way the midterms always go. It's certainly now the size of the victory will be about how popular or unpopular the president is, and I think in my lifetime, the only time that the party in power has held the House in contentious times was 2002, and that makes sense because it was right after 9/11. Sean McGuire says, you say no one attractive is poly, but you haven't been on dating apps, man. I've been out with some hot women in open marriages, but it can go downhill. That's not really being poly. That's polyamorous is being is multiple people being in a relationship with each other. That's an open what you're describing is an open relationship. Are you fucking her in front of the husband? Because that's polyamory. Is he also fucking her at the same time? That's polyamory. I'm going to say right now, there are no attractive polyamorous people. None. Zero. And some of the most blatant troglodytes you have ever seen in your entire life are poly. It never fails. Like anytime you see a picture of a poly relationship or whatever, it's like, holy mother of Christ. You know, because attractive people wouldn't be in a poly relationship. They might be in an open relationship, and that's different. But attractive people don't need to be in a poly relationship. You have to understand that. And if there was, can you imagine being in a polycule and there's an attractive woman and then everyone else is ugly? I wonder how that's going to go.
Oof.
People are saying I'm so right about this. I've never been more right than ever about anything in my life than this. All right. Hasu Kadik wrote in, said, I meant download PlayStation Premium PS3 games to my PlayStation Plus Premium PS3 games to my PS3. Oh, so you're saying games that are available to stream, you want to download them natively. That's interesting. No, that's not going to be possible. PS3 hasn't gotten PlayStation Plus perks in 11 years? Something like that?
It's over.
Sketch McGetch says, here comes the 4 out of 10s to dispute this. They're not 4 out of 10s. Lower. All right. Ryan Van Wingerden wrote in and said, I need 10 minutes on how Dustin can deride Naruto Shippuden, but stand One Piece. I have been watching Naruto. I know people don't like when I say that. For the first time in my 30s, and it rules. Does it?
The reason I give Naruto such a hard time is because there was a gang of Naruto people in my high school, and they look exactly how they look like the poly people that Colin's talking about. And the one of them sat in front of me in class. He used a gym bag as his backpack. It smelled like socks, and he never had any books in there. So what was he carrying around? Old socks?
Yeah, probably old socks.
I don't know. I would probably think Naruto's okay if I actually decide to watch it, but I really don't watch that much anime to begin with. So
yeah, right.
I'm good.
Dexterous Joe wrote in and said, what was the last console special edition you bought or liked? Recently purchased the Yote Black edition for my brother, and it's pretty sweet. I've never gotten a special edition console. I do have an unopened 20th anniversary PS4 that Sony gave me that back in the day, and I just never opened it. Yeah, that was when I was still in a relationship with them. I guess I was shilling at that point. But I've never had. I honestly don't really give a shit what the console looks like. I mean, it's nice to talk about. It's ideal if it looked good, but whatever. I don't need the special edition consoles.
Yeah. Only one I've had is my current anniversary PlayStation. And, well, I guess I had my used PSP that I got is the Star Wars Battlefront. It's got Vader on the back. It's pretty cool.
Let's see. Death Shoot 1 says, do you think Sony is happy with Marathon now? Probably not. But they're probably happy with the quality of the game.
Yeah.
And I believe I said that I made this analogy on the show. They have a beachhead with this game, and they shouldn't abandon it. And I don't think they will. I think the people that think that like this game is going to go away, I think you're mistaken. It's too good to walk away from, like from a quality standpoint, and they've dumped a lot of money into it. So I think they're going to try to make it work. But are they happy with the way it's performing? I doubt it. I doubt that it hit their expectation. All right, the Everything Man, is it the last one? Checking in now.
And Troy,
right?
Yeah.
Checking in now before the draft to see what moves Colin thinks the Jets are going to make in the draft. And what are your thoughts on my Carolina Panthers, if any? Love you guys. I root for the Panthers. I mean, not actively, but I want to see them do well because they've been bad for a while. And Bryce Young is their quarterback, Dustin, and he's so small. It's like, so it's funny when you see him, like he looks like a little kid. Like he's going to get killed. But, so yeah, I wanted to see them do well, but I don't really have any thoughts on them beyond that. The Jets, I would love for them to trade down from 2. I don't think there's any appetite for that to happen though. So I think they'll get an edge rusher, probably that Arvell Reese guy. And
you like edge.
Yeah, you love edge rushing.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The Jets are in bad need of an edge rusher.
Edge rushing, that's kind of an oxymoron. In order to edge, you cannot rush.
Right, that's true. So I think we'll get an edge rusher at 2, and then 16 we pick. Again, I would love to trade down from there too. We need bodies. So like I would rather have I'd rather have more lower quality, but still good draftable players than a few high quality players, because we don't have holes to fill as much as we like really do need a roster rebuild, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So maybe, but I think 16 probably wide receiver. And then when we pick 33, that's when I think you might pick up a QB should Ty Simpson still be there. And then probably pick up like an offensive lineman after that, and maybe even another edge rusher. A cornerback would be good. We need a kicker. You don't typically draft kickers, but if there's good kickers, you might draft them in the 3rd or 4th round. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm excited about it. The draft is just in a few weeks, but ideally we would trade down. Troy Branch, this is the last one, says, if anyone has time, including hosts, give back a Mart de Poix du Femme. It's an 80s prog rock jazz fusion Brazilian band. Give it an honest listen chance and you'll fall in love with it. This has 3 comments underneath it. Let's see what the people have to say. Failed sentences. Oh, it's him. Was trying to edit. I'll give it a go. I'll look into it. I'm going to be listening to music and dicking around after this. So we have a few more. I'll just acknowledge these. Awesome Tatum says playing Returnal again, and yup, still fucking hard. It's so good, dude. Stick with it. You get it eventually, and I am nasty at Returnal right now. Like sweaty. I was thinking about it. Like I'm sweaty at it. Like playing it, like especially in the Tower of Sisyphus where it gets fucking gnarly. Couple Hippo retracted his message, and Bing Churing says, Dustin, St. Peter was in fact the first bishop of Rome, aka Pope. Jesus himself bestows the keys on Peter in the Gospels. It's in the Protestant Bible too.
That's not what I was saying. I was saying Peter was never called the Pope.
Right.
In the Bible.
Yeah, it was retroactive for sure.
It was retroactive. That was my point.
What are you going to do when you meet him at the gate?
I'm good, dude.
I'm confident I'm getting through.
Mm-hmm.
I've said this to you before. I refuse to believe that Jesus, like the Trinity, God, let's just say God, the Godhead, right? That they are so petty that they're like, this dude lived a good, righteous life. He didn't really, he did some wrong things, but he treated people with respect. He tried to do the right thing, but he didn't believe. Bye. Really? And then like some murderer who repents right before he's got to get executed goes to heaven. I refuse to believe it. And when I meet Peter at the gates, I'm making the case.
Yeah. Well.
And then he hits this little thing, like this little
the lever.
Yeah. I'm like the bad egg in Willy Wonka. All right. Let's get out of here. That was fun, Dustin. It was good to catch up with you and talk to you today. Very nice, easy breezy show. We'll do another one next week. I don't know what we'll do. Maybe we'll play a game, or I don't know. We'll figure it out. We have time. But I'll see you on Sacred on Thursday. We'll see all of you out there as well. Sacred went live for the free feeds today, as it always does on Mondays. Join us on Patreon at patreon.com/lastdaymedia. Lastdaymedia.store for merch. That's it. Anything left to say before we go?
Nope. Just gonna be messing around with my Superstation this afternoon. But yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out, for the good times, and we'll see you next time.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm excited to see what you think of that machine.
Yeah,
you'll have to report back on the show. All right, everyone, thank you for being here with us. It was always great to be here with you. Rather, as always, I hope you have a great week. Be well, be safe. Try to find some time for yourself out there and play some games, be with family, and all that kind of stuff. We'll see you next time.